Hello, friends and family, strangers and acquaintances, my future children and my future self. We are joined by a very special guest today. He is the co-host of the Panel of Bros podcast show. You may know him from Facebook meme videos, usually with the title "When You Watch Too Much Wrestling" or something along those lines. You might have one point theorized if he was joining the DC Cinematic Universe from a cryptic tweet. Please welcome the dear friend of mine, incredibly talented actor, and even more wonderful person, Ricardo Segarra.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Welcome.
I listen to your guys' podcast quite often.
Aww.
Thank you.
I'm always like trying to leave a comment if I can leave a comment.
That's really nice.
And I just like listening to it. And every once in a while, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get my wife on here one day.
Oh my
and
God.
Yeah.
We'll do a couples thing.
That'd be cute.
But I was so excited. And I think you and I had planned to do this once before.
Yeah.
And I think something fell through on my end, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think so, but something also fell through on our end. We got sick at that point.
Okay,
and
so
we
something
didn't
that
wanna
happened.
Spread that to your family.
I think one of my kids was sick at the time. I don't recall, but I remember
Yeah.
it being like, oh, it fell through. So
I think everybody was just sick.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
and
sixth season.
Something
Yeah.
happened, and I hit you up not too long ago, and I said, hey, I think we should get together.
Yeah.
I want to talk about nostalgia with you.
Yeah.
And I think the main driving force behind that is because of the shirt you're wearing.
Yes.
The Stranger Things new teaser dropped, and I just started getting all these feelings, and I was like, oh man, and I've always wanted to talk just nostalgia with you
Yeah.
guys in general because I love that stuff.
Yeah, nostalgia is powerful. It's like I told you, it can be bonding.
Yeah, I love nostalgia. Like I'm sure you guys see on my Instagram story, that's all I share now.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just that's all I post is nostalgia videos, and the amount of like friends and peers that will comment and leave a message and be like, oh man, I love that you do this because I remember this, or it takes me back to this.
Right.
And sometimes I think we just need to get away from life sometimes in general and just remember some good things. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So like nostalgia is, what do they say? It's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Hell of a drug.
Absolutely. So, yep, that's going to be mostly the topic of what we're going to be talking about, nostalgia. But I do want to like give some introduction to people who may not know who you are, and obviously we've been friends for a long time. I did want to.
You're my
ask
partner.
you though.
You're
Yeah.
my partner, Juan. You're my partner. That's how I roll.
Hey, Lex is right here. Don't.
Yes. You're my partner in crime, and
I
anything
think-
that I
I
do,
think
Juan's
Brett
the
would
first
be
person.
okay with him saying that. Like,
Yeah. You're always the first person I think of if ever I have any ideas whatsoever. I'm like, all right, I got to talk to Juan. Like,
Yeah,
what's up
yeah,
with
yeah,
Juan?
yeah.
Like, and I appreciate that relationship, and I've spoken about it with other people when coming up with ideas and whatnot. And I'm like, well, I go to Juan. Like Juan's my guy.
I
You know what I
honestly
mean?
love that.
So like anytime anything comes up, like I've had people ask me like, oh, would you be interested in shooting with someone else? And I'm like, no. Like Juan's my guy. Like Juan's my guy. So
Juan has said the same thing about
I
you.
said the same thing
he's
about
my
you.
guy. Like I'm never.
Like you spoil me. Like
I'm never gonna leave Juan. I'm
Yeah.
never-
Like I don't. Sometimes I don't like working with other people. I'm just like, but they're not Rick.
yeah, right. And I've worked with other people, and I think that a lot of times it comes down to the relationship aspect of it too. Because not only are we partners in crime, but we're friends as well. So
Yeah.
I think that helps, and I think that we've known each other long enough that we know. Kind of like without saying anything, like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll tell you something like, "Oh, can we do this?" And you're like, "I know exactly what you're saying."
Exactly.
And with
Yep.
someone else, it might take me 10 minutes
to explain
to
all that.
explain it, and I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
man, I got Juan.
Yeah.
Like, Juan,
Yeah.
I don't need anybody else. It's
There's like a
Juan."
synergy there.
Yeah.
And I love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I did want to ask you. Do you remember how we met?
I think we met at a film festival.
We did.
In person.
Yes.
And
know if I
I
remember
believe, and I
this.
remember this. I remember this because I thought your film was gonna win.
Yes.
I desperately believed it. And you had you had someone in it. Oh, what is her name? I forget.
Brooke.
It was
Yeah,
Brooke. Thank
yeah.
you. And I knew, and I thought I was like, oh, Juan's got it in the bag. I said, whoever made this has it in the bag because it was this love story between these two young people, and I believe they even share a kiss on screen.
That's
It's-
ironic because
yeah.
we're seeing her later this week.
Yeah,
Brooke is
we are.
awesome. Brooke is incredible.
Hey, shout out Brooke.
Brooke is incredible. Everything she does is just incredible. And as a parent, I love seeing what she's
Oh, I
doing.
love.
Yeah.
So I'm always taken back by Brooke. So I'm like, oh, Brooke, you're an incredible person.
She really
Shout
is.
out Brooke.
But yeah, so I remember meeting you there, and I think you had I could be wrong. I think you had the Bieber haircut at the time.
Yeah.
Right?
the swoop.
Yep.
The swoop.
Absolutely.
And I
That was
remember, and little did I know, our relationship that was going to kick off after that.
Yeah.
And I was scouting you from that very moment. From that very moment. I don't remember how old you were at the time. It might not have been legal, but I was scouting you at a very young age. I was like, oh, that guy right there.
How
that
old
guy
were
right
you?
there.
I'm pretty much Mohammed's age.
Yeah, yeah.
Like literally, like we're like maybe like a week apart.
Yeah, and that's the reason I was there because Henna had needed. He wanted to film something as well, and I said, well, I had this script that I had written up just for giggles, and he was like, "You want to film it?" I was like, "Oh, can we film it really?" And he was like, "Yeah, we'll film it." And you know, we filmed it. We had fun, and again, I got to meet you there, and it was awesome. And somehow, I don't know how the connection started though. I don't recall who reached out to who first. Or it was kind of like, hey, baby, what are you up to? Like, I don't remember who initiated
Who slid into whose
I
DMs
don't know
first.
who it was. I really I don't remember. It probably was me, though. I think I might have contacted you perhaps about something, about filming something.
That's crazy.
I think so. Maybe. But yeah, we've been doing stuff forever.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And I definitely felt everything's been so mutual because like I thought that about your film. I saw you and I saw what was going on.
We had that conversation. It was like,
oh
I thought
my
you were
God.
going to win.
He's
I
got
thought
it in
you
the
were going
bag.
to win. Yeah, it was like, no, we thought you was going to win. Yeah.
Because we were like high school. This was a high school film festival,
Yes.
and then here you are, like this, like you look like a trained actor. And I'm just like, oh my God, where did they get this guy? L.A.
Yeah.
Where did they get
and
this
at that point, I had done acting school and everything
Yeah.
else. And I remember, that was a fun conversation because, like, even Henna said, Henna was like, yeah, like you immediately like stood out. He's like, because everyone here is in high school
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, but I gave this to you. Like, I thought it'd be really cool for you to film this. Like, it wasn't even for me. I was like, oh, you can have this. And he was like, you want to be in? I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I would love to do it and to be able to see it on that was my first experience, I think, making anything where I got to see it in that type of a format.
Yeah.
And to see it with an audience and hear people gasp and whatnot. And I was like, ooh. And I remember I have a core memory of a scene where the door shuts on its own. And it's so small. It's not big, but I remember hearing people go, oh. And I was like, ooh, what's
like,
that
I
feel
like
like?
that.
I like that. And then I remember watching yours and I remember like, oh, this is great. And then they shared a kiss. And I was like, all right, he won. I was like, he won. I was like, he got a kiss. He got a kiss from the cast in this high school production. I was like, yeah, this is going to be the win. This is the win right here.
That's cute.
Oh my goodness. That's incredible. But yeah, like you were saying, like you didn't like remember this. That's because like we didn't know each other in high school. Funny enough,
Yeah.
This was like during like my high school days. So.
No, I don't remember. I just don't remember that story. Like, I don't even remember you telling me that.
Yeah. But I did want to ask you about Lex. Like, what are your first memories of her?
I think I've really started to get to know you, Lex, when you guys were working on the Avatar project.
Yeah.
That's when I really started to get to know you.
That's I think when I
and I was just like, at first, and I don't know if this is weird, but I feel like we as people always can read people well.
Yeah.
Like, and like you were one of those people that I read very well. I was like, oh no, she's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's good enough for what? Like you guys are really good friends at the time, and you guys are working on this
really
Avatar project.
nice.
Like you just feel it. Like I was like, and that was one thing too is I feel like you could feel connection between people. And even though you guys were friends at the time, it was like I could feel a connection, and a connection doesn't always have to be romanticized or anything, but just a connection. Like I call one of my friends my soulmate because I've known her since kindergarten.
Yeah.
And it's not romantic in any sense, but I'm just like, no, we have that relationship.
Yeah, you have that like deeper connection.
Yeah, so I remember seeing you guys together and just working together and whatnot. And I was like, oh, Lex is great. Lex is great. You know what I mean? You give great hugs.
Aww.
And I'm like, Lex is a good hugger.
You're a good hugger
you know
too.
What I mean? Yeah, I try. I'm a my love language is physical touch.
Yeah.
So I love hugs. Like that's why I love giving you hugs. And all my boys hugs. I'll give you kisses on the cheek, man.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
I low-key love that. I love
Yeah.
that you're not like so weird about like physical touch
No,
and
I
like
love it.
especially with other men because I feel like some men can be really weird about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think you're really cool.
Nah, not
Yeah.
especially not during Pride Month, man.
Yeah.
No, not at
I
all.
know, as I'm wearing this
Hey, happy
bandana,
Pride Month.
yeah,
Not at
wearing
all.
this bandana.
But yeah, like me and my closest friends, like you know Anthony Scanish as well.
Yeah.
Like I love him to death, and like we hug and we embrace. And my other
cool.
brother Anderson from the Panel Bros.
Yeah.
Every time we see each other, just the big hugs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if a guy offers me just a handshake, I'm judging you.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like,
like, no,
oh,
I want
I
you
don't
to
know.
hug me, bro. Like, let's hug a little bit. Like I'm
Yeah.
a big hugger.
At least like a bro like hug, you know?
Yeah,
like,
give me
it doesn't
like
have to be.
I'm a
Yeah.
very affectionate person. You know what I mean? So I love that type
Yeah,
of stuff.
I love
but
that.
but yeah, to go back to it, meeting you right off the bat, I was like, oh no, she's great. And getting to work with you, and especially getting to work with you in that type of environment, because my first introduction to you was working on that project together.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell a lot about a person on their work ethic and how they're gonna operate and everything else, and just very hands-on, very open about everything. And I was like, yeah, this is great. This is perfect.
That is awesome. Yeah, I agree. Lex, you're great.
I would hope so. I mean,
But the hashtag for this video is Lex is great. That's the hashtag.
I definitely hope so because we've been together for so long at this point.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, and I love being around to see it blossom and grow over
Yeah.
years. Like, I love that stuff. You know what I mean? So like seeing
This year's 10 years.
yeah, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
insane. You know what I mean? To know that, to see what it was and where it is now, it's just incredible stuff. And to see that you guys are working together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we got the Juandering podcast, which I absolutely love. You know, you had the Avatar project and everything else. I was like, yeah, just having that bond is great, especially, you know, with your partner to be able to do these type of things
Yeah.
is awesome. You know, like my wife, like Britt, I love you, and she like so she was like, nah, I have no interest in doing that, and that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
That's
perfectly
fair.
fine.
That's fair.
You know, she's like, nah, just show me when you're done. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And we'll call it a day.
Yeah, she's
but-
like supportive.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing I can't do without her by my side, so it's great.
Yeah. No, I understand. You're like that in the sense too, where like this
Yeah.
is the most natural for you.
Oh, yeah.
In
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of like producing
Yeah,
content with
I don't
me.
love being on camera.
Yeah,
but,
like
but
we're never
yeah,
gonna
this
get
is
you in the
fine.
short film. Sorry.
Yeah,
we might.
yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, we
wait,
might.
I never say never because
You're
No,
right,
yeah,
you're
never,
right.
Never say never.
Never
but
say never.
This guy's charming. He'll,
Yes,
he'll put
we
you
can-
under a
we
spell.
can try.
Yes,
We
Rick
can
is
try.
very
You know
charming.
what I mean?
So
Like-
maybe, but
like,
I'm not gonna say
I'll
no.
wear
no.
I'll wear a vest.
Yeah.
You know, and,
Yeah.
and a white tank top. I was like, all right, Lex, let me have a conversation with you. Let's see if we can get you in
Oh,
here.
he knows. He
Just-
remembers.
I remember. I kept that in mind. I was like, all right, she likes the vest. I was like, all right, we'll wear the vest. We'll wear the vest.
Oh,
Yeah, the vest
man.
is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. I do remember a specific moment where I first referred to Lex as my girlfriend.
Yes.
And you stopped me and tried to like, did
Yeah.
you say girlfriend?
You're like,
I was
wait.
so
and I said,
happy.
yes. And then you shook my hand. You're like, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Like, it treated it like it was an engagement, just the
Yeah.
idea of dating. Because, again, it was something that I saw between you guys. And I felt like Michael Scott when everyone's dating in the office and he takes responsibility for it.
Yeah.
And I had no responsibility for it whatsoever. But it was like a proud dad moment. I was
Yeah,
like, yes.
yeah.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Did
Because.
you and Brick have conversations?
Oh yeah, I told her immediately. I was like, "Oh my god,
Oh.
Juan and Lex are together." She's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yes."
Aw,
And it's
she's
just
so cute.
It's just great because again, it's one of
Love.
those things where like when you see it, and look, in life there are many people that will go their whole life looking for their partner and sometimes don't find them. You know, and it's a
Yeah.
bummer. So when you can see a great friendship that blossoms into something else
Mm-hmm.
between two people that you genuinely like, I was like, "Oh no, this is great." I was so happy when you said it. So happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty happy too.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah, everybody was happy all around.
Ah, that's awesome. All right. So why don't we get into our main topic of nostalgia?
Nostalgia, bro.
Is there anything you specifically want to touch on first, or you just want to talk about it?
In no particular order. I think what's going to be interesting too is your version of nostalgia versus mine. We have
Yeah.
a 10-year age difference.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to
Yeah,
discuss.
that's what I was saying to Juan last
like
night.
the differences between our nostalgia. Like
Yeah, like you're a true like '90s kid, where it's like I was
Yes.
just kind of born in the '90s, but I
we're
really
like,
grew up
we're
in the
barely
early 2000s.
millennials at this
Yeah,
point.
I'm
Like,
very much
yeah,
barely a
the
millennial.
the later end millennial. So
Very-
what year were you born?
95 for him and 93 for me.
Okay, so you at least get 5 years of the 90s.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
benefit about time is that like even in the early 2000s, you're still experiencing things from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know, like I'm old, so I was born in 1985.
I'm
And
old.
there's still a lot of 80s content, music, and everything else that I associate with, even though I was probably only 5 at the time when
Yeah.
it came out. Like, again, my favorite movie of all time is Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
That's, we're talking 80s, but even though I didn't experience it until like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 years old, I absolutely adore it. But I do think it's interesting, the dynamics, the shifts between how we, like what our nostalgia is versus someone else's nostalgia.
Right.
And that's always interesting to me. An interesting comment I've heard, and I don't know if it holds up for everybody, but some people say like you're not really nostalgic for the time, but nostalgic for who you were at that time. And
That's
I always
interesting.
found that interesting because there's a part of me that feels like I'm still that same kid.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I'm
I
like,
agree.
I don't know if I'm missing who I was because I'm one of those people that I haven't changed at all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm the exact same person I was. I just have a little bit more responsibilities here and now,
Yeah.
but I'm still the same person. So there is a part of me that sometimes goes, no, I actually miss the technology. I miss
Yeah.
the waiting. I
Yep.
miss that everything wasn't at your fingertips.
Even like
Yeah.
commercials sometimes,
Oh,
like
man.
like just waiting, the breaks between like each thing. Like sometimes you're just like, oh, that commercial was really funny.
Yeah.
And you can't even say that really anymore.
No.
Because like
yeah.
the ads are just annoying at this point.
Actually, a few days ago, when my 7-year-old daughter was having dinner, I said, when we were, I don't know why it came up, but I said, when I was your age, me and my parents would all sit in the living room, have dinner, and we would watch like America's Funniest Home Videos. And we would do it as a family.
That's cute.
And I miss it, and I look forward to it. And she was like, "Oh, what's America's Funniest Home Videos?" So I immediately pulled up YouTube, and I found one from like 1994.
Yeah.
And she sat and she watched it, and we enjoyed it. And it was so cool because whoever uploaded it uploaded all the commercials as well.
Oh wow.
So then the commercial started playing, and she was like, "Oh, what's that?" And then
That's hilarious.
all of a sudden, Britt got interested, and she goes, "Wait, I remember this." And she
Yeah.
goes, "Oh my god!" And it's a Kmart commercial, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Kmart.
it's an Olive Garden commercial, like old school Olive Garden, and it just takes you back, you know, and just thinking about how different it was back in the day.
Did you
And-
ever think you'd be explaining commercials to your daughters?
No, never. Like I do that quite often. Like when I see something that has changed significantly, I'll tell her, I'm like, "Oh, I used to be much different back then." And
What
goes,
did she
"Oh,
say?
How so?" Like, all right, one for example that was really funny is I showed her what McDonald's looked like when
Oh
we
my
were
God.
kids.
Yes.
Right? And how colorful, how bright.
The Playhouse.
The Playhouse,
Yeah.
the Happy Meals, just
Yep.
everything. The interior, because I don't know if you guys have been inside of McDonald's
Not in a
recently.
while.
It looks like a tax office. Like, it's,
Ugh.
Yeah.
it's horrible.
They're really
Yeah.
trying to get you to not sit down.
Yeah, like we're not getting sponsored by McDonald's anytime soon on this
No.
because I'm not going to say nice
Hate.
things. But I remember showing her, and she goes, "Oh my God, why did they change it?" And I didn't have an appropriate response because I was like, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I said it just kind of got away from catering to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I said it used to be catered to kids, and I remember being a kid and being in the backseat of the car and like seeing a McDonald's and just getting so excited. Like, can we go stop McDonald's? And it was a
Yeah.
big deal. Like, it was a big deal.
It was always
you know,
fun.
and you ran, your mom knew exactly what to order. You took your shoes off when you went in the Playhouse. So it is fun telling her and teaching her things. And again, as a parent, like, "Hey, put your tablet down while we're doing this." And I'm like, "You know what? When I was a kid, we didn't have a tablet."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, "What?" I'm like, "We didn't have a tablet. We didn't have wireless internet."
They didn't even
What do
understand.
you mean? And I'm like, "Yeah, we didn't have it." It's so funny getting her perspective, but I do have fun talking to her about it.
Yeah.
I do think it's a lot of fun. And then sometimes she shows an interest in things. So like, again, now she asked for America's Funniest Home Videos. She's like, "Can we
cool.
watch that?" I was like, "Yeah, we'll put it on for you a little bit." So
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I think in a broader sense, technology really is, I don't know, a big factor in how times have changed.
Yes.
And
Things have moved so fast. too.
yeah.
Even from when we were kids.
Even
yeah.
right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah, even right now.
it's moving fast.
Yeah.
AI
It's
and
like you
stuff.
blink and you're just like, things are so different.
And it's over. And like, so again, a lot of the conversations happen because of my daughter. So if she wants to watch anything, we could just say it and it's just there. And I told her, I said, "Oh," and she asked me one time, she said, "What was your favorite cartoon when you were growing up?"
Aw.
And I was going through the cartoons, and I was like, "Oh, Nickelodeon, Disney, like all different, right?" So I was like, "Oh, Nickelodeon." I said, "I think it used to be Rugrats. I used to love Rugrats."
Yeah, I love Rugrats.
And I was like, "But here's the thing, I couldn't just put it on whenever I wanted." And she's
Yeah.
like, "What do you mean?
You had to watch.
What do you mean?" And I was like,
She
"Yeah, I'd have
doesn't understand
I'd
the
have to wait
concept.
until it came on at a certain time." And I said, "Guess
There
what?"
were time slots for things.
And I was like, "Guess
Yeah.
what? I couldn't pause it.
You couldn't
if I had
rewind
to
it?
go to the restroom.
Yeah,
I
if
couldn't-
you missed it,
no, that
you
was
missed
it." And she's just like, "That doesn't make any sense." And it's so great
just
watching her.
doesn't get it.
No, it doesn't compute.
Yeah.
And it's so great watching her do
So
that.
funny.
But, you know, that comes back to technology, how everything's so quick at your fingertips now. And look, I'm not going to say that's not a great thing because sometimes it could be great to
Yeah.
have something at your fingertips. Trust me. I said, but I genuinely miss anticipation.
Yeah.
And
There's a lack of that now, for
and
sure.
waiting. And a lot of times, you know, you can't blame the kids because a lot of times people are like, "Oh, kids don't have any patience anymore." And I was like, well, it's kind of hard to have patience when everything's 2 seconds away.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
True.
you guys remember this, where you get on the computer and you had to download an image and it would take forever.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
like, all right, we're going to be sitting on this laptop or this computer, I
Yeah.
should say, this PC.
Forever. Dial-up.
Forever. Yep.
I remember dial-up.
Yeah,
I remember
dial-up.
the sound.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The irony is now I love that sound.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
I miss it so much. You
Or
know?
like the Windows loading screens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, like, and it was I don't want to say it was special, but it was special. Damn
Yeah,
it.
and you don't even realize how special it was until like years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until when you're in it, you don't get it.
And it's
Yeah.
like, what do
Yeah.
they say? Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and there's a part of me that sometimes wonder, like, is that what I'm doing right now? Am I
Mm-hmm.
just remembering it more in a glamorous way because it's not here? And then I do that thing where I get into denial. It's like, no, it was better.
It was
like it
actually
was
good.
absolutely better.
Like I
Yeah.
genuinely do miss like Game Boy Colors.
Oh my God,
Like
yes.
like just being under my covers with like a worm light and being like playing my game.
There is a
Like-
simplicity that I enjoyed about those things.
Yeah.
I notice now. Do you guys have a Switch? Do you guys own a Nintendo Switch?
she does.
I have
You
two,
do. Okay, you have
actually.
two. Yes,
Yeah.
we have two as well.
Yeah.
We have the OLED and then we have the traditional
Yeah.
Switch and whatnot. And majority of the time when I played, I'm playing just the Nintendo games, the Super Nintendo games, because it has all those old school games on there. And I every once in a while, like I have a PS5, don't get me wrong, and I still play my PS5. But sometimes I'm like, I don't want to commit 2 hours to gameplay right now.
Yeah.
I just want to sit for a few minutes and I'll put on the old school games, the simplicity of it all. And
it's
like
fun.
Mara plays the old Kirby's.
I love
Kirby.
I love that she loves Kirby.
Yeah, she adores Kirby.
I loved Kirby when I was her age.
Yeah, she plays the new school Kirby, but she will play the old school on Game Boy, things like that.
That makes me so
and
happy.
it's really good. I'm getting to live vicariously through her again in the past.
Every time I
it's
see a
fun.
Kirby, I think of her.
Yeah, that's great. I bought a
she's so
Kirby
cute.
shirt for her birthday. I bought a Kirby shirt for me to wear, and she's like, Kirby! Like, she's
so
so great
cool.
about it. So, yeah, but there's something about the simplicity of it all and just, anticipation. And there was one thing that I mentioned with you yesterday was collective consciousness and how back in the day it was almost a necessity because if you all wanted to watch Friends, you all watch Friends at the same time every week. And the next morning you get up and you would all talk about it. If you were a big fan of Power Rangers, which I was, Power Rangers was huge.
Yeah, I remember Power Rangers.
And first of all, shout out to Power Rangers for being so diverse.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a boy show. It wasn't a girl show. It was for everybody. Shout out to the Power Rangers for being so good in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I remember going to school and every day after an episode, boys and girls would huddle up and be like, did you see Power Rangers? Did you see the Green Ranger? You know what I mean? And there was this collective consciousness that we were all in on something at the same time. Where nowadays, you can just click a button and watch whenever you want.
Whenever.
So there are shows that
like nobody's on the same page.
Yeah, like Stranger Things is coming out, right? I'm sure there will be some people, I don't know who they are, but there will be some people that will not watch it right away.
Oh yeah,
they may wait a little bit and they won't be able to be a part of that consciousness where we're all together kind of like in it to win it.
Yeah.
There's still some Super Bowl, World Series,
Yeah.
things like that, but when it comes to
Kinda
media and
lacking.
content stuff, it's like, man, I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah. Like fighting over the remote.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Fighting over, you don't trust anybody. like when it comes to remote control, trust goes out the window. Because I remember, I'm like, "Where's the remote?" My sister, I don't know. I'm like, "Get up!" There's no trust whatsoever.
not at
Fighting
all.
for the remote control and
Now it's like remotes are on your phone.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
Yeah. Now everyone has their own screens.
Yeah.
and every once in a while, and this does happen, and I'm guilty of it as well. And when it does happen, I try to steer away from it, but it does occur. Where I'll notice that all of us are in the room, but all of us are looking at our phone.
Yeah.
And it does
Yeah.
happen.
I know.
And it usually happens when we're all trying to take a rest. Like we're all
Yeah.
like either burnt out from the day and we're kind of just like doom scrolling or whatever.
I hate it at dinner, especially.
Yes, and I caught that.
Yeah.
I caught it with the kids because, like they're like, oh, I want my tablet. And as a parent, sometimes I'm kind of like, all right, well, I'm cooking over here. All right, take it. Like I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But I do catch myself, and when I'm sitting, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, like we're all on here. Let me put mine down. Let me see if I can get them to put theirs down and have a conversation. Because that's what it was like back in the day. Yeah, there was no tablets.
Yeah.
I feel so old. There was no tablets.
Yeah, there was no like distractions like that.
No.
It was all you had to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Or the screens that you would have would be like like a Game Boy or something.
We
Or,
would
like,
share a screen back in the day. That's what it was.
Yeah.
You shared a screen.
And a small screen too.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
had TVs in like every single room. and
I remember feeling rich because we were not, but feeling rich when we had a small TV in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We had a small TV in the kitchen, so we would all have dinner, and then again we would watch our favorite programs
That's
and stuff like that,
interesting.
and just kind of sit there and be like, "Oh, that's crazy! You see that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?" And that was a big deal. But now everybody's got their own screen,
when I had a screen in my room, like a TV in my room growing up, I was like, whoa, that's cool.
right?
Did you have a TV in your
Yeah.
room?
I did have a TV in my room.
Yeah.
I
I
did
was
not
not
have a
allowed for
doorknob
long.
on my
Juan
door.
didn't.
Oh.
I didn't have a doorknob on my door. I was not allowed to have locked doors in the house.
Oh, wow.
But I had a TV.
You had TV?
Yeah, I had a TV.
I at least had privacy.
No.
Yeah, you had privacy. That's
my parents were
something.
like, "You don't get a doorknob." I was like, "All right, understood."
Sounds like my
Understood.
mom. My mom was like that. She didn't have a door for a while, honestly. It was just like
Wide open.
it's just wide open.
My cousin didn't have a door. He had blinds.
He
So
had
like
blinds.
he like hung a blanket down
Yeah,
for privacy. He didn't have
yeah.
a door.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's about right.
Yeah,
It's
but
funny.
yeah, I did have a TV in my room, and that was really really fun to be like, oh my god, I have my own TV.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
remember falling asleep. So like I'd put in like VHSs and like fall asleep to like the playing or like the blue screen when it would end.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Did you ever utilize the sleep timer on TVs?
Not then, no. I'm sure my parents tried, but like I'm sure I figured it out.
I would do
Like,
that. I would put a sleep timer on it because I knew I would pass out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, how much? I got an hour left in me. All right, sleep timer. And just pass out.
I don't think
Yeah.
I had the hindsight to do that like 7. Like I don't.
Oh
think
yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once I had a TV in my room, my parents had like strict cutoff time work. I couldn't have it on like
Oh,
when I'm
man.
trying
Nah.
to sleep. So
I remember those. My dad would be like, "Hey, it's 9 o'clock. Go to bed."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All right," and I put it really low.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
low, just kind of huddle up on the TV. Or this was at the time where like you could plug headphones into a TV.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
So I would plug my headphones
That's
in and just
smart.
kind of do that or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, I remember those days. Like no TV after
No
9. Go to
TV.
bed.
Yeah.
Okay, Dad.
I had no rules like that, no restrictions. My parents were like, well, we don't have any, so I guess you won't either.
Everything's fine. Everything just works out.
Yeah.
You'll be
Yeah.
completely fine. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Like my parents trusted me to self-regulate. They didn't trust my brother to self-regulate.
It's like, nah, Lex is good. She knows what she's doing. She's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother actually at a point had like somewhat of a bedtime ish for like 2 years, and that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had it period for a time, and then after a while, they kind of just gave in.
Yeah.
They was like, nah, it's fine. He's
Yeah.
fine. He's fine. He's
That was the
fine.
vibe with my family too.
I was like,
I
okay.
was like, whatever.
Yeah, I think once you get into high school, like I don't know,
Yeah.
because like I needed to stay up sometimes to write papers because
Yeah.
I procrastinated. But
Bro, I still have those nightmares.
Yeah.
Like, you understand? Like, I'm an
Oh.
adult, and I still wake up sometimes at 2 in the morning, like, oh my God, I have a paper due. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
bro, what are you talking? You're 40 years
You're
old. Like,
40.
what are you talking about, my
Your
dude?
favorite.
So, like, yeah, it definitely happens.
Oh my god.
yeah, like I still think of like, oh my god, am I gonna miss the bus?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I hate it. Like you're ready to shoot out of bed. And
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, wait a minute. That was over 20 years ago. I'm completely fine.
like the trauma. Like it's crazy.
School is trauma.
Yeah.
School is trauma. You know
Like
what I
you
mean?
just why is that so imprinted on our psyches?
And then some people are nostalgic for it, and I'm like, are you nostalgic for your
certainly
friends?
not.
Are you nostalgic for friends? Is that what it is? You know, because like they'll say, because like I'll periodically say it. Like when we drive by, I'll show my daughter, like, oh, that'll be your high school. You know, I'm like, oh, and I went there. And she goes, really? I said, yeah, I went there, and it looks like this and this and that. And to some people, it might sound like, oh, you know, you peaked in high school. And I was like, no, I didn't. I just really enjoyed my friends and everything else.
I
like
love
that.
the
Like, it was great.
atmosphere of high school. Like so many people are around. There's
Yeah.
a lot of friends. It's easier to make friends because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a lot of people around. As an adult, it's harder to make friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as an adult, and I think I told you this recently because you just turned 30.
Yep.
So like you're new to the game, baby. And 30's great.
You're still lamenting.
Yeah, 30's great. And I remember telling you, I think like there's a lot of things that line up so well.
Yeah.
When you hit 30. So like, and now that you bring up friends, like it's hard to, you're gonna figure out like who your core is if you haven't already. Like who your core. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm in the core. You know, and it's just
Yeah.
like that's your core. So that's the good stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, what were some of your favorite shows growing up?
Oh man, shows, bro. This list can go on forever. Okay, so like I remember as a kid, like one of my favorite shows growing up, and this was during high school years. So I'll go to high school because I already mentioned Power Rangers, but I was a huge fan of like Dawson's Creek.
Oh,
Have you seen it? Do you
Yeah,
know?
I've seen Dawson's
And
Creek.
like I was
Yeah.
addicted to Dawson's Creek because I think being in high school and watching a show about teens in high school and experience all they were experiencing, like I love that show. And every once in a while I try to convince Britt to watch it, and she's just
Aw.
like, nah. Like
Wasn't for
like,
her.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
nah. Like 'cause she didn't necessarily watch it at the time. So I feel like for me, like when I rewatch it now, there's nostalgia, right? Like I feel how I felt when I was watching it at the time.
Yeah.
If you were not a fan of that show at the time, watching it now, maybe it might feel dated. It might feel
Yeah.
like, well, you know, I'm not, you know, the show might just be okay
Yeah.
to someone who hasn't watched it, but because I grew up watching Dawson's Creek,
You really
when
like
I rewatch it now, I'm just like, oh, it takes me back. And I do this a lot too. I don't know. I do a lot of rewatching of shows, a lot. So Dawson's Creek, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Oh, Fresh Prince.
Boy Meets
So
World,
good.
Friends, The Office. Like
That's one I miss. Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. I watch
Yeah,
it every year.
I miss
Every year
that
I watch
one.
it. You know, and there's nostalgia reasons for it, and it's weird because I'll forget, and I forget that I'm watching it as an adult. Because as I watch it, I'm taken back. Like I'm like, oh, like I'm still crushing on Topanga. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, Corey, I can't believe you cheated on her. What's wrong with you? And
Yeah.
I'm like, dog, this is over 20-something years old. Like, what are you doing?
And it's like you remember though how you felt at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling. You know, like I love new shows now. Don't get me wrong. Like I'll plug new shows all day, but I end up watching a lot of shows. Like right now, I'm currently on my maybe 6th rewatch of The Office as
Oh, wow.
we speak.
Mm-hmm.
You
6
know,
is crazy.
Like because
Yeah, that's a lot.
I go through every year. I have like 4 to 5 shows in rotation on top of like new content.
Yeah.
So every so often I'm like, these are my comfort shows. These are the shows that make me feel good.
Yeah, that's like Friends for me.
Yeah,
Love Friends.
I adore Friends.
Yeah.
Are you a Friends fan, Juan?
Let me tell you how I
Oh,
got
yeah,
into
please,
Friends.
please tell
Let me
us.
get
Please
into
tell
Friends.
us.
Juan.
Perfect that this was brought up. So
I would need to
when
know
I
what
was
Rick
first
thinks.
starting to hang out with Lex, she would have Friends on.
Yes.
Loved Friends.
In her room, and I watched it all out of order. Sometimes you would just
Yeah.
fall asleep, and now here I'm just I'm
watching
lost in
Friends.
this world. It's like, what is going on? Who's Chandler? Who's Ross?
Yeah.
I
Trying to figure out
don't
everything.
know who's who. I don't know what's happening. But eventually, I just watched it so much that it became kind of comforting to me. I'm just like, oh yeah, I know these people. That's
And he was able to piece together the story.
Yeah,
He knew
yeah,
what was
yeah.
up.
So have you been able to actually watch it straight through?
I think
or-
I did it once.
Once?
From
Yeah.
Okay.
beginning to end.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And now you have an additional feeling because it's Lex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Lex has introduced
top
you to
of it.
Friends, so
Mhm.
you have that. So like when I
Yeah.
watch it, I'm remembering what it was like in school when the girls would come in and be like, "Oh my God,
Friends.
Ross and Rachel
Yes,
broke up.
Ross and
What are we
Rachel."
gonna do?" And I'm
And
like,
people still
"Ah."
talk about that to
Yes.
this day.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
whether it was like, were they on a break?
On a
were
break,
they not
yeah.
on a
Do
break?
you know this
Like,
episode?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Where
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
stand on this? I would like to hear
Oh,
where both of
yeah,
you stand
yeah.
on this.
Oh, let me
Okay.
remember where I stand on it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you
I-
go first while I think.
Okay. Okay. While you're processing.
While I steal your opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think it's a little twofold. I do think they were on a break.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do also think that it should have been clearer that they were on a break.
Yes.
And also that Ross should not have gone immediately and slept with somebody else. Like, that wasn't cool. Shouldn't have done that. But also, there should have been established grounds of like, what are we doing on this? Are we allowed to see other people? Are we allowed to sleep with other people? It should be fine. But no, they just screamed at one another. And then Ross, for some reason, thought it was okay to sleep with the next person that he saw. But, whatever. So I think Rachel was in her rights to be mad. I do think she held it out a little too long.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
I like that one. Where are you at, Juan?
I think kind of a simplified version of that. Were they on a break? Yes. Was that not cool of Ross to do? Also, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've always been there too. Is I felt that, like, is that something I would have done? No.
No.
Absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not.
That's why Ross is dumb.
Especially without knowing what was actually happening.
yeah.
Like, I can understand that he was angry.
Oh, yeah.
And I get that, but Ross was also pushing too hard on Rachel at
Yeah.
that time. But I understand why he was angry, and I also understand. Okay, yes, alcohol was involved and things of that nature, and I'm not using that to excuse it. It happened. I think Rachel is well within her right to be upset.
Yeah.
Would I say it was cheating? That's where I get tricky and
Tricky.
gray, because I'm like, well, she's like, I want to take a break, and usually I don't believe in breaks. I'm one of those.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
oh man, if you
break
want to
up.
break, who's out there? Who are you talking to?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's my brain.
That's
So-
what I get with Rachel, where she's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a break up.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
totally get that. Yeah, I think that's where it's a little dicey. I don't necessarily think it's cheating, but it is
Yeah,
like,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
Like-
it's amoral though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't think he cheated, but I still think it was wrong.
Yeah, because
You
like,
know?
why are you why did you jump into bed with the next person?
Yeah,
like, you know
and
what I
it
mean?
was like the very first person, and especially and because it's Rachel, like this is
Yeah.
like his quote unquote soulmate.
yeah,
To be able
you've
to
been
just
pining after this woman for literal years, Ross.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, I understood her. I understood the rage. I understood why she was angry at him, and she talked about it. And there were parts where, like, as you mentioned, I felt it went too long.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Rachel, I get it.
yeah.
That many pages front and back. We got to do
Yes.
something about this, Rachel. We got
Yeah.
to do something about it. We got to
Yeah.
do something about this. So it's interesting though. It's
And
great.
then Ross was dumb and he lied
Yeah.
about like
Yeah.
Ross is just dumb throughout the whole thing. Like,
I had a friend who was like, I can't get in the Friends. He's like, why? He said, because a lot of these people make stupid decisions. I'm like,
There's-
we need a show. I was
yeah.
like, but we need a show. Like, we need a show. We can't have everybody do the right thing.
yeah, it's true. And like you had to have people that were like, 'cause Ross consistently is the one who like makes pretty poor decisions,
Yes.
especially when it comes to like romantic relationships. And you're just over here being like, Ross, like you're so stupid. But it's like you see it though, like he's
Yes.
fumbling, he's trying, but he's just messing it up at every turn.
One of my favorite things, and we'll save this for another one because we can go really deep. We'll save this for a Friends
Yeah,
podcast.
honestly.
Is like I think there is a way to analyze each and every character and why they make the choices that they make.
Oh, 100%.
And Ross, you can see with everything he's been through with his ex-wife.
Yeah, it doesn't help that she
it
left
doesn't
him.
help his trust issues. It doesn't help anything. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, there's a method to the madness. Also, how Ross's parents treat him.
Yeah,
And
he's kind of the golden child.
Yeah, he's the golden
Yeah.
child, so he's used to certain things. So it's very, very interesting. You know what I mean? But yeah, so Friends was awesome, man.
Friends was
I watch that
awesome.
every year.
Yeah.
Every year, man. That's another one I get nostalgia for, and I watch them and kind of get taken back. And you know, we lost Matthew Perry,
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately.
I still need to
But
read his book.
But when I watch the show, I forget that he's gone.
Yeah, same.
So it's like I'm just watching him again.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I love about nostalgia and about television and movies and sometimes where those people are no longer with us, but the impact that they left on us is
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah.
So like I can watch Friends. I'm like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's
Yeah.
there. There he is. And that's really, really cool.
Another one like that is like Full House, like with
Yeah.
Bob Saget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you a Full House guy? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God,
I saw
please,
I saw the
please.
body reaction.
Yes.
Yeah. You said,
We,
Yeah,
that's
there was a
actually
photo of
something
it.
we've bonded
They-
over.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of why I first posed the question of like, what are some of your favorite shows? Because I was gonna loop in Full House because
Yes.
that's very nostalgic for me.
Yes.
I would wake up before school because like I knew what time it was on. I knew what channel it was on. And you remember that channels like having to
Channels.
memorize
Yes,
things.
channels. And looking at the guide, like
Yeah.
to see.
Channels. One of the most horrible things is when you went out of town.
Yes.
And you were like, what channel
Where am
is
I?
Full House
Yeah.
on? And you're
Yeah.
going through and you're like, I can't. And you're literally just going through the loop
Yeah.
until you land on it
Yep.
and you finally find it.
and you're
like, okay.
trying to figure it out, like
Yes.
where everything is in this new place.
Yes. And I know it sounds like a negative, but I loved it. Okay. I loved it. No, I was kidding.
But yeah, like Full House would come on before like school would start for me, and so I would watch it, and then I would get ready for school. And oh man, first of all, I love Full House a lot.
Yes.
I also because we're talking about nostalgia and whatnot, I also want to talk. Have you seen Fuller House?
Yes.
You've watched the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not watched the whole thing. I enjoyed it, but I kind of fell off because I felt like maybe they were
Wasn't the
harking a
same.
little bit too much on nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that, or how do you feel about seeing the whole thing?
I was much happier with the first. How many seasons are there of the new one?
I think
I don't know,
there's
4, 5?
3 or 4.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
season of Fuller House, I was all in
Yeah.
because it's the introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's nostalgia.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, I do think that near the end, I finished it, but I noticed that I started like falling. Like I was
Yeah.
like, and I couldn't tell if it was because it's one of those things where it overstayed its welcome. I was like, is that what's happening now? Is it riding too much nostalgia? Because you can, when you're talking about content and media, you can only go so far with something like that before you
Yeah.
start to feel like, okay, like I'll use Stranger Things as an example.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is nostalgia for the time period and things, but it doesn't rely on that to tell their stories. It's not like it has to be this, it has to be that. And with Fuller House, I think sometimes you had to rely on certain memories of the show in order for things to work. So you ride on nostalgia a little too hard for it to kind of stick with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then everybody had like their own version of like who each character was going to be in the future, and then like so then we got like a definitive version, and that didn't always fit with who you
Oh, yeah.
thought the person was going to be, and so that was like kind of weird.
Yeah.
To see that.
But I'm glad you were a fan. Full House was great.
Loved
Yes.
Full House.
Full House
Yes.
was great.
Loved
and
Uncle
that was long
Jesse.
before your time.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, it was.
Full House was like one of my favorite. I loved sitcoms as a
Yes.
kid. Like loved them. And I would always watch them when I was going to sleep. And Full House was the main one that I would always watch, and I loved it so much.
I miss sitcoms. We don't have as many anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not, as
many.
Prevalent.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Like
not.
sitcom culture is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
It's not. And I listen to, I don't know if you guys listen to any podcasts from old TV shows. Like I listen to Pod Meets World.
Oh, cool.
The
Okay.
Boy Meets World podcast.
That's a great.
If you're a fan of
great
Boy Meets
one.
World, it's a great podcast.
Yeah.
And they talk about it all the time. Like Will brings up the fact, he goes, he wish he can make a sitcom today. So I would love to make a sitcom today. It's just a different environment. you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah, the
mean?
culture is different. It's not like the same thing.
It's not.
Yeah.
Like they tried again with the new version of that 70s show, that 90s show.
Yeah,
And
that didn't hit for me.
It didn't land, and I felt like at times, and again, maybe it's nostalgia goggles, where I felt like sometimes it looked too polished.
Yeah.
It looked way too clean, and there was something about watching shows when you were growing up, and it wasn't just the way the television was or the graininess of it all, but there was something about the way things were shot, the way things were framed.
Yeah.
Lighting is so important. We know about lighting and how they would portray it in old sitcoms versus new, and it almost felt like I was watching it through an iPhone. Like it just felt weird and jarring at times.
Yeah.
And that was another one where I feel like it got lost in trying to create its own identity as well as the nostalgia. It couldn't find a balance.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no, it sadly got canceled. I think there's enough meat on the bone to make it work, but for whatever reason, they just couldn't land it.
Yeah, I get it. That 70s show was so good.
That 70s show is another one in my rotations.
Yeah.
All the time.
It was so good. I love that one. And like that was definitely like my introduction of like, oh, like what's pot? Like
Yes.
that whole vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, wait, what? Like,
What are they doing?
I was like, hold on, I just graduated the DARE program. What do
Yeah.
you mean? Like they're just doing this? Like you
Yeah.
can do that? And it was an introduction into that world, if you will.
Yeah,
And
it really
great.
was.
It was great.
It was great.
And again, it was a show about teens doing teenager things where they
And
were,
being stupid.
Yeah, like they were allowed to
Yeah.
be dumb and make mistakes. Again, there's a big difference between the characters in that 70s show and Friends. We're watching grown adults in New York, and in that 70s show, we're watching kids
Yeah.
make mistakes and do this and weed and drinking
Yeah.
underage and parties and whatnot. And it was like, oh, are we allowed to be watching this? I was like,
Yeah.
it's great. That's
Exactly.
another really good one.
Like with kids, it's like, oh, you get it. It makes sense. Like, of course, they're making mistakes. But with a grown adult, you're like, I hold you to a higher standard. Like, why are you so dumb?
So I'm curious. Do we think sitcoms like that can work today, or do they ride mainly on nostalgia? Like, is it easier to create something, or just focus on IP of nostalgia? Because
Yeah.
there's a part of me that thinks the reason they go for nostalgia is because the people willing to sit and watch sitcoms are our age, so they try to go to something that we enjoyed. But because content is so different now and it's so fast, and streaming there's like tons and tons of movies and television
Yeah.
now, where it's like I don't know if can you do it now. I want to believe they can.
I
Is that
think
something
you
they
could, but you need to do it in a way that was like, it fixates on like what kids now and
Yeah.
teenagers now are worrying about. Because I feel like Euphoria kind of works.
I couldn't get through it. It was hard.
It's hard. Yeah,
it's a hard
like I
watch.
feel like that's not like a super great example of like what kids are going through now, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like a little bit more of like what they're watching, you
Yeah.
know, like that's what they're interested in, even if it's not like super hyper realistic.
Yeah.
I think that like it can work. You just have to kind of tailor it.
Yeah, and like have you seen Euphoria one?
I have not.
Have you seen all of it?
I've seen a little bit of it. Yeah, I haven't.
And
watched
I'm
the
not
whole
saying
thing.
it's a bad show. It was just heavy.
It was heavy.
It was
yeah.
very, very heavy. And
I know
I'm
a
watching
lot of it.
teens, and I was like, "Ooh, this is kind of heavy." And maybe if I was a teenager watching it, because it did relatively well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I think as a teenager watching it, I would have related to it more and everything.
A lot of
But
my
now watching it as
coworkers
an
really
adult,
like
it
it.
was like it was heavy, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to watch a show about kids going through this stuff." I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
man, like this is kind of hard to watch."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's a heavier show, but it's also like, oh, like is that bringing up like some real points?
Yeah.
You know, of what kids are maybe going through, or like partially like what's happening.
And the dynamics of everything is different today. So yeah, you need a show to reflect it. Like again, one of the reasons why I'm so nostalgic for those old television shows is they remind me of what time was like around
They're
then. You know what I
wholesome.
mean? Like the family dynamic, you know what I mean? And like again, me and my family would sit around and watch our shows together and have our dinner and everything, and like you would see that reflected in these TV shows, whether it was like
Yeah.
Home Improvement or
I
anything
loved
like that.
Home Improvement.
And like you get the family dynamic.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just so it's so different now. Like especially like if you think about like who kids look up to now, like streamers and YouTubers and things like that, where back in the day it might be different, so a show could be portrayed differently.
Yeah.
And I would love for it to make a comeback, to be honest with you, but for now I just rewatch all my old shows and I'm good
Yeah.
with that. That's it.
Yeah, I feel that.
I'm gonna touch on something you just said. It's a little bit off topic, but it's adjacent. Talking about people looking up to streamers and like content creators and whatnot. That's definitely a sign of like the change of times.
Yes.
But I also remember, because like that's kind of what I want to do as well. I definitely remember discovering when like that's what I wanted to do, and like at that time like it still wasn't like a valid career or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then how fast it switched to now everyone.
Oh, everybody.
All the kids
Yeah.
want to do
Mara
that.
told me, my 7-year-old told me
Yeah.
she was going to be a YouTuber when she grew up. Or the other day she
like
got
that's actually a career choice at this point.
She
yeah.
got excited because we were filming for the Panel Bros. And she came
Aw.
down and I had all the setup. And I was like, all right, good night. And I give her a kiss and I take her up to bed. And she goes, "Does this go on YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Are you a YouTuber?" Like to
Oh my
her,
God.
to her. And I remember, and I said, "Well, no, honey, I'm not a YouTuber because I don't financially gain anything from doing these. I do these for fun."
Yeah.
I said, "So I'm not technically a YouTuber. I don't make money off of it." I said, "It's just something me and my friends do for fun." You know. She was like, "Oh, but you're on YouTube." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is universally
That's
different
like
now.
their TV.
Yeah.
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 That's like they're seeing that and they're being like, that's like if we saw like a famous like music artist
Yeah.
or like an actor or actress.
You saw Jennifer Aniston on the street as a kid, you lose your mind.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
freak out.
Now it's like, oh my God, that's Mr. Beast.
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And it's like, oh boy.
That's like who you're looking for.
Dude, I'm still starstruck by you. Just letting you know.
By me?
you.
Yeah, baby. That's how I like it. That's how I like it.
That's Ricardo
When
Segarra.
when it comes to like YouTubers and streamers, and I know he's someone that you like as well. I always go to Markiplier.
Oh yeah.
I
Love
adore
that
that man. He's one of those guys that I'm like, when people say they want to be a streamer YouTuber, I'm like, you do what he does.
Yeah, do what he does.
Do what Mark does.
Yeah.
Mark is great. And yeah, it's different now, man. Like it's so different. Like Mara watches like makeup tutorials and she practices.
Oh wow, really?
Wow.
She does things, and like she was working with
That's
my sister
crazy.
the other day because my sister's big on makeup, and my sister was like, your daughter's a genius. I'm like, why? She said, go look what she did, and I'm looking at her face, and she goes, not only did she draw her name, but she created the 3D effect by
Oh,
putting
wow.
shade behind it.
That's
and she
so
goes,
cool.
she goes, nobody taught her how to do that, and I was like, oh, is that like? And she goes, no, that takes people sometimes years to
Yeah,
think
like
about
years
doing.
to
She
learn.
goes, she's 7 years old and she's already, and I'm like,
That's amazing.
that's the world now. You know what I mean? Like she's able to watch that.
Like your
and pull it up
sister's
at any
like your
time.
daughter surpassing
Yeah,
me.
like, yeah, she said it. She was like, she's a genius. And I was like, really? Because of that? She goes, you don't understand. Like, that's a big deal. Like, she made a 3D effect on her face.
yeah,
I was
like
oh,
she's
cool.
gonna be great with like contour and stuff.
Oh, yeah. All that stuff. I don't know anything about that stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's gonna be-
I'm out. I
she's
don't know
going-
anything. But she loves it. Yeah, she loves that stuff.
That's amazing. Good. That's so cool. She could do that on
Yeah,
YouTube.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Like-
again, like back in the day, you might have like shunned somebody for
Yeah.
saying, I want to be a YouTuber. And
Yeah.
now it's like, nah, dude, there's legitimate careers.
For
in that.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
Like she could just have a lifestyle
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
And
Yeah.
some people learn about it. And some of my favorite content are from YouTubers. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm a huge fan of the Dead Meat channel, which is a horror channel. It's my favorite. The Outdoor Boys, which is all about nature. I'm that guy now.
Yeah, you're that
like,
guy.
I'm like randomly one day I was like, I want to watch this guy camping and nature and fishing and all this. I don't know where that came from, but it just relaxes me. You
Yeah.
know, and like
Yeah.
there's so much content that we take from YouTube now. It's amazing. You know?
I get that. I like cooking videos. I mean, I enjoy
yeah,
cooking
yeah.
in general.
That's a big
but
one.
Yeah.
Britt loves cooking videos, and
Yeah.
I've noticed that my youngest, who's 3, will periodically peek over my shoulder, and a cooking video will come up, and she'll go, "Oh wait, go back."
She'll
Go
be like,
back,
"I wanna
go
see
back."
that.
I want to see them make the pizza. And I was
Yep.
like, all right, we'll see them make the pizza.
I love that.
Do you remember the first YouTube video you ever saw? Because I remember mine.
Oh my God, the first YouTube video I ever saw
Yeah.
was a clip from Dawson's Creek.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I was big on Dawson's Creek at the time, obviously, and I had experienced because I didn't have a computer right away. My cousin did, and I was like, "You can watch videos on here."
That's so
And they're
cool.
like, "Yeah," and I said, "You can type anything." They're like, "Yeah." I said, "Type Dawson's Creek," and like they typed Dawson's Creek, and it was one of the scenes where Pacey hooks up with his teacher.
Oh my God.
And I was like, "This is incredible! Like we can just
That's
watch
so
anything
funny.
we want." Because yeah, my first instinct was
Blew your
I didn't know
mind.
what to search. I was like, "This is before YouTube was a thing." Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's where we are. We were there when YouTube was invented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's weird to think about.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird to think about that.
Like again, there are kids that can't imagine. What do you mean YouTube wasn't around? I said, "Oh yeah, dude, we didn't have internet. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So having YouTube is interesting.
Like,
Yeah, I remember
crazy.
mine was emailed to me. Do you remember when people would just email
Oh
each other
my
all
God,
the time?
yes.
Oh
Emailed
yeah.
me a link
Before like
to-
texting was really even a thing.
The evolution of dance. Have you seen
Yes,
that video?
yes.
That was the very first YouTube
Yes.
video I ever saw.
What a way to break you in.
I know.
Right?
Like, that's a good way
that
to do
makes
it.
so much sense.
And I saw that guy live once.
Oh, he's
I saw
amazing.
him do it live. I was like, oh my God, this is like amazing.
He's
That's
amazing.
crazy.
You brought up emails. Do you remember what your first email was? Was it anything silly? Mine was really silly.
I do remember
What
mine.
was yours?
I do remember mine, but it wasn't silly.
It was like Master Chief 524.
Yes, baby. We went
Yeah,
Halo with
Master
it.
Chief.
You don't remember yours?
I do remember mine, but
It
it
was
was it was literally
traditional?
my initials.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I was. Oh boy. It was spelled incorrectly on purpose. So it began with the letter X instead of an E. It was exceptional Latino
Oh my
at yahoo.com.
God.
Because I was so proud. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be cool. It's gonna have an X in it.
You're
It's gonna
hilarious.
be good. It was, and that's what it was. And then I noticed that like when I was like going to the banks, I was like, I need to change this because
I do.
I remember the teller laughed over the phone. And because I was like, oh, I'm trying to get into this account. I was really
amazing.
young at the time. I was like, trying to get into this account. And she was like, okay, what's your email? And I was like,
You're like, oh.
and I was like, okay, it starts with an X. And she was like, all right. And I was like, exceptional Latino at yahoo.com. And she kind of just let out this chuckle. And I went, Yeah, and after that, I changed it. I immediately changed
That's
it to my name.
hysterical.
For the longest time,
When you had to tell people.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Latino@yahoo.com. That's it.
for the longest time, I was boydancer13 at
Yes.
yahoo.com.
Boy
and,
Dancer 13.
and at one point, I got hacked, and I was so heartbroken because I lost access
I'd have
to
been
that.
so upset if they took my name.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too, is remembering, like, again, email started and we're coming up with names, and we're like, again, I chose that because I was like, this is gonna rock the world, like this is gonna change the game. And I remember AOL Instant Messenger,
Yeah.
AIM, your
Yes.
AIM
I
remember
names.
that.
Do you guys remember your names?
I was boydancer13.
Boydancer-
Yeah,
13?
it was again just my initials.
My cousin made mine.
Oh, boy.
Because I did a lot of things with my cousin. Me and my cousin grew up together.
Yeah.
Her name is Jackie. She lives in Hawaii now. And when we were growing up, we did everything together and classes, and we would go on like trips together. Like it was me and her. And she had the computer. So again, I was like, oh, what is this? She goes, oh, you can communicate with your friends, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh. So I would go to her house to use it because I didn't have a computer at the time. And I was like, I need a name. And she was like, oh, just pick something. And I was like, oh, I'm struggling. And this was around the year 2000. And Y2K was big.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, and I was like, I don't know. And I was like, can we do something with like 2K? Because 2K is cool. And she was like, how about, and she came over, she goes, how about RQD2K? And I was
Wow.
like, perfect. And I was like, perfect, that's the name, RQD2K. And that was my first AOL Instant Messenger name. And that was my bread and butter. That was my
That's
bread and
so
butter.
funny.
It's such a ridiculous name, but RQD2K. And I was like, okay.
What do you remember about Y2K?
Y2K was incredible. First of all, there was an apocalypse. You guys probably just don't remember it.
I was
like, we
5,
had to
so-
fight robots. It was insane.
Yeah.
Like we had to fight to the death. But all joking aside, like I remember the real fear, man. Like there was a real fear, and I remember I have a core memory of driving to a New Year's Eve party, and the car wouldn't start.
Oh no.
And I was in the back seat. My mom was like, "What's going on?" And my dad was like, "Well, some of these cars do have computers." And I was just like, "Oh my God, it's happening! Like we are going to lose everything."
I remember my dad talking about it because he was like kind of going into like IT, and so he was just like, "Oh yeah, everyone's worried about like the world just
Yeah,
ending."
like because everyone thought the 00
Yeah.
was going to reset everything on the computers, and we were scared, bro. Like I kid you not. Like when the clock, like we're all celebrating, obviously, and we're doing 10, 9, but there was a part of me that was kind of like, wait a minute, are we counting down
Is
to
this
the
like
end?
Armageddon at this point? Like
we're gonna lose all power. Like I can't survive. I need my pizza rolls.
Right.
You know what I mean? I need my
Pizza
pizza
rolls.
bacon. Like I can't lose that. And then I remember someone said something, and I was like, oh yeah. They were like, well, hold on, it hit 2000 in Japan. They're fine.
Yeah,
And
they're
I was
all
like,
good.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forget. The world operates in different time zones.
Yeah.
Oh, are they okay? No, is it only going to happen here? Okay, it's going to happen here then. All right, I'll be
Like
afraid.
it would be a domino effect at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
Like
we would see
like
it
we would
happen.
know before.
Did anything
Yeah.
happen?
No,
Anywhere? Nothing happened.
Nothing
Okay.
bad happened, but it was scary, and I'll never forget like the fear of
Yeah.
like people were panicking, man. Like people were
Oh
throwing
yeah,
money from banks.
100%.
People were like
Same with 2012.
oh, yeah,
people
dude.
thought that was
I was
2012.
just going to bring that up.
2012.
2012.
Yeah,
I have this
yeah.
core memory of when I was walking with my dad, and it was me and my dad, and we were walking our dog. We were walking just along this street where there was like apartment complexes, and we found this man who was just wandering around, and he was just like,
Nope.
and we were like, are you okay? Like he looked like disheveled, and we're like, are you good? Are you okay? And he's like, well, I'm still here. And he's like looking around. And we were just like, what the hell?
What does that mean? What do you mean you stay here?
And
buddy?
my dad like moved me, like physically
Yes.
moved me over. He was like,
Yeah,
That's a time
let's
travel
get-
right there.
Let's get away.
Yeah.
People really bought into 2012 too. Like,
Yeah.
And I remember they released a film called 2012.
2012, yeah.
And I mean, man, this is a fun movie. But is this going to happen? Like, there's always that fear in the back of your mind, as weird as it is. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, it's like, hey man, did we ever think maybe they just got tired of making calendars?
right?
You know what I mean? Like they were like, dude, like if someone said, Rick, make a couple calendars for the next whatever.
We've
there's
gone
gonna be a
this
year I'm
far.
gonna stop.
Yeah.
There's gonna be I'm like, all right, that's enough.
Exactly. Like,
you know,
maybe they went a couple thousand years, and you're
Yeah.
like,
You
dude,
know?
I'm tired of making these damn calendars.
it's like, listen, man, we the world's not ending because I need more Stranger Things. It can't end yet. It
Yeah.
can't end yet. But Y2K was fun. 2012 was fun because again, there's that little little like something happened, and then nothing
Yeah.
happens. You're like, oh, thank God.
It's wild too to look back on like fashion and stuff and how
Oh.
like things are similar and like coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fashion. Let's get into fashion
Yeah.
a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so like clearly I have a strong taste for old school fashion. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I love 90s and
Totally
2000s
fair.
clothing and everything else like that. But like you said, there's some stuff that's kind of coming back. And what's interesting is things that weren't popular
Are coming back.
are coming back
Yeah.
and being popular. For example, I don't know how you guys wear your socks, right?
Oh,
I wear
yeah.
ankle socks.
Ankle socks?
Supposedly that's not in anymore. You want crew socks now?
I wear crew socks.
like that's the thing
Yeah.
now, right? Like
yeah.
you want to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what you're wearing. Like if you're wearing shorts, you want like to see the socks.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I've been told. And I remember being like, when I was a kid, if you wore crew socks, you got made fun of.
You were like a
Like
yeah,
if you, so what we
yeah.
would do, myself and many others, is we would fold them down. We would just fold them as low as we could,
Yeah.
so you couldn't see them. And obviously, you know, your mom bought you the socks she bought you. That was it. You weren't gonna be
Yeah.
like, please give me ankle socks so the kids don't make fun of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't
Your
that.
mom was gonna be
and it
like,
was just like,
"What?"
no, like there's nothing wrong with those socks, okay?
Yeah, like it's
and
okay.
so you would fold them down. But now it's like, no, it's different now. You know, back in the day when I was if you wore pants that were tight, you got made fun of.
But now skinny jeans
But
is like a
skinny
millennial
jeans
thing.
are a thing.
Fucking
Yeah.
God.
Like skinny jeans are a thing. Like
Like
people
you'll die on that hill for skinny jeans.
I die on that
Yeah.
hill. Everyone
Like,
looks good in
yeah.
skinny
See,
jeans.
Yes,
I will say this: I don't die on that hill.
Yeah.
I don't. I am a little bit more into the wide leg jean.
All right.
I could wear both, but I prefer the wide legs. I
Yeah.
do like the wide legs and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I have hips, so there's that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like I want a little bit more like balance, you know.
but it's interesting what goes away, what comes back. I'm surprised it wasn't popular things come back and be popular.
Yeah.
And it's like no. Like even shoes. Like
yeah, even shoes.
what was a shoe brand that I remember?
Converse or
Oh, love Converse.
Converse. Like there were some shoes back in the day. Like if you weren't wearing like in the 90s, if you weren't wearing Jordans or
Yeah,
90s,
my parents have told me about this.
you were
yeah,
you can get made fun of very easily. And
Yeah.
I never owned a pair of Jordans. I would be lucky if I got Nikes. Like I had to beg one time for Air Force Ones when I was going into high school. I had
Yeah.
to beg because I knew I was like, I'm going to high school. I don't want to get beat up, right? I was like, I need
Yeah.
I need something. And like they fought me tooth and nail. My mom was like, no, you're gonna get the shoes we get you. And I was like, please. So the first ever Air Force Ones I had were baby blue and white.
Ooh,
So I was very,
pretty.
very happy about that.
Yeah, that's nice.
But like, yeah, like nowadays it's not necessarily the case. Like you don't have to be rocking J's. And
Yeah.
you don't have to be rocking these Nikes.
That's interesting of itself, like the cultural shift of like away from most people are more okay now, I guess, with like anybody wearing whatever they want
Yeah.
for the most part. But I don't think it wasn't like that. Like
No, it wasn't.
when you were a kid, when like my parents were kids.
It wasn't like again in like if you wore shorts above your knee, you got made fun of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got made fun
Yeah.
of. But now it's like, no, you can wear whatever shorts you want. And so like there is some things about today that are way better.
Yeah,
And that's one
that's pretty
aspect of
chill.
it. And it's like, no, man, you can wear whatever you like. You can be exactly who you are. And I love that. But like back in the day, I mean, I'm rocking J's right now. Like I got
Yeah.
the Jordans right
Yeah,
now.
the
you
color's
know what
nice.
I mean? Dude, baby blue,
Yeah,
man.
I
I'm a
love the
huge fan of the
color.
Jordans.
Hell yeah.
You know, and that's me as an adult being like, oh, I can never get these as kids. So now I can get me
Yeah.
some J's. You know what I mean? But
My
yeah,
biggest
it's just,
thing was
it's-
Converse. I loved Converse.
I used to have some Converse growing up.
I had
Converse.
so many.
That was we didn't get made fun of for wearing Converse, but you just weren't cool enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if I work because I wore Converse as a kid,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, they're not the cool shoes. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they're not cool enough.
I thought they were the cool shoes,
See,
but my feet are so wide.
yeah.
I like
Converse are narrow.
Converse. And it was
Converse,
like,
yeah.
And-
Converse was like the main thing I wore. I was like a little bit more like it's a little more like alternative.
Yeah.
Like then especially.
It's just it is interesting. Again, like even with boots, Tim's
Yeah.
and like certain
Docs.
boots. Yeah, like I remember lugs. Oh my god, do you guys remember lugs? That
remember
might be
Uggs.
early
I
90s.
remember Uggs.
L-U-G-Z.
Uggs was a big thing.
And Uggs was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uggs blew up like crazy.
They did. I always hated Uggs too. I always thought they were like super ugly.
I was like, oh, they
Like-
just okay. That's it. That's it.
Like-
Okay. All right. More power
And
to
like
you.
every girl I knew had one of those, had just a pair.
What do
or-
they
or
call it? The
multiple.
basic? Is it the
Yeah.
basic look? It is like it's
I
got
got
the,
it,
I
the leggings with
literally-
the Uggs.
Yeah.
And everything
Oh,
else.
yeah.
I was always loved leggings, hated the Uggs. Like a friend's mom gifted me a pair of like off-brand Uggs, which like seemed weird at the time. but
You got
like
the mugs.
yeah, the
How you
mugs
doing?
exactly.
How you
But I
doing?
was like, I put them on and I'm like, these are the ugliest shoes I've ever seen.
But it's just it's interesting, and it's interesting how style changes, like the look of
Yeah.
a shoe. You know what I mean? Like you might, if a shoe looked a certain way. Like I remember shoes in the '90s. Like now you have shoes that can look really out there. and they could be pretty expensive, but
Yeah.
like really out there and just something you would never seen wearing. Back in the day, again, you couldn't do something like that. You couldn't be weird and expressive with your kicks.
Yeah.
It's like, no, buddy, what are you
Just
doing?
different times.
So again, that's one thing that has gotten better over time. I will give it that.
Yeah, I like that it's like you can wear whatever you want kind of vibe now.
I do
That's
get
really
mad
nice.
at this though. I get mad when people wear something and they think it's new, and I'm like, how dare you?
Oh yeah.
I was there when it was written.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like, you don't claim that.
Yeah.
That's ours, bro. That's millennials. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
Yep.
another thing too. Like there are these headbands or these clips that are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And like my mom would buy them for me when I was like 10. And I'm just like, and grown ass women are wearing them
Yeah,
now.
they're wearing them now.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
wearing
I
them
just
now.
don't know how to feel about it. I'm like, that was like what you bought for your kid.
You know what I mean?
Like in a pinch. It
It's
wasn't
no,
like a
no.
fashion
And now
statement.
adults are wearing it.
Yeah, now it's like a fashion statement, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I always feel a little sad and depressed when someone wears a new outfit and they're like, here's our vintage outfit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's when I was 12. What do you
Yeah,
mean
right?
vintage?
Vintage.
What do you mean vintage? That's an amazing suit.
I
You should
know.
be wearing it all the time now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I love that. And I like looking at like you brought up the hair ties, and I like looking at the style too, because now I have daughters. Like what's coming back for the girls?
Yeah.
Like, what are the girls wearing?
Like
and everything else.
scrunchies and
like
stuff.
the butterfly clips.
Yeah, butterfly clips.
and everything else. I'm like, oh, they're bringing that back. You're gonna love it. You know?
Yeah.
that stuff's fun.
Butterfly clips, scrunchies, headbands, yeah, all that.
I forget what they were called. I don't know if you guys know. The girls would make them in class. They would make like bracelets and stuff in class.
Oh yeah, like friendship bracelets.
Yeah, they would make
Yeah.
bracelets, and they were they can make like keychains from them.
Oh, yeah.
and they had like a plastic.
I was
feel,
gonna say, is it
different colors. It's
plasticky?
plastic.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of
Yeah, Chris. You know what they
Yeah.
were called? I don't remember.
I don't know what they're called, but I know what you're talking
I
about.
want them to come back. I love those.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
used to ask all the girls, "Can you
Oh,
make me one?" Can you
Jelly
make me-"
bracelets.
Jelly
too.
bracelets, I
Yeah,
remember
jelly
those.
bracelets. I remember my first interaction with a jelly bracelet was like somebody had gave one to me, and I didn't realize they were like, oh, what you would do.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, interesting. I'm like, what does this mean?
'Cause I don't know. And as we're on the jewelry of nostalgia. Do you remember the edible jewelry? Do they still make those?
Yeah, I
They had
remember that.
edible necklaces.
Necklaces, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I remember.
And it's
Ring pops is what
yeah,
I know.
yeah,
Ring pops,
yeah,
yeah, ring pops.
definitely have
Love
ring
ring
pops.
pops.
Mara still loves ring pops.
I remember being a kid and like eating it, like
Did you
eating
guys propose with ring pops?
Oh,
we used to do that.
yeah.
We used to do that as kids. Did you do
yep,
that?
Yep, we did that too.
You go up to
Yeah.
someone you
Yeah.
really like and you give them a ring pop, and
Yep.
if they took it, you're like, "Yeah, we're married
Yeah.
now."
I remember
too scared.
Yeah.
I gave one to a girl, but I had already eaten it, so I was like,
Oh, that's the best. That's the best. It's like, listen, this is what I have left of it. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
I
I'm
think
so
it
sorry.
was like.
Just
8 or
know it was
something.
delicious.
Yeah.
Okay. Just know.
You would have liked this flavor.
This was really good. But like, they had edible necklaces, and when you think about it, that's kind of gross because
It
you
is
do
kind
this,
of. Yes, exactly. You're like
and you put it back on
gnawing
your neck. You know what I mean? You'd walk around with that, and I remember. All right, so we're in candy now. Oh, I love the candy.
Yeah.
They still make them, but do you remember warheads?
Yes.
Yeah.
Warheads were lethal.
Oh, they were lethal.
Warheads, you
Oh.
would get so excited when
And
someone
I
brought them.
love sour candy, but warheads get me.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I haven't had one in a while. If I remember correctly, the black one used to mess me up.
Yeah.
The black one was like strong.
It was so strong.
And I would be there just making the craziest faces
Yeah.
in class. And then you would try to see who could do it, who couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, oh, I got the warheads. You know, don't make a face.
Well,
Yeah,
Rick,
don't
you're
make
in
face.
luck. No,
Oh
I'm
my
kidding.
God, warheads.
Imagine.
That'd have been it probably hurt me now.
Right.
I'm like, oh, my mouth hurts so bad. Because like you, I like sour. Like,
Yeah.
I like sour candy.
Love
Yeah.
sour.
And warheads were a big one. Everyone was
Yeah.
like, dude, I got the new warhead. And I'm like, yeah.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so good.
You might have experienced it. We had the fruit roll-ups that had tattoos on them.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
that I
remember
remember.
those. That's also very weird now that you
It
think about it.
is.
Yeah, like
Is it
Was
use
it
this fruit roll-up and you could
tattoo
tattoo
your
your
tongue, right?
tongue?
Yeah.
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 Hey, there might have been a time or two I might try my arm. You know,
Right,
let's
yeah,
see if this
same,
works. Let's see if this works. It's not sticking, but now my
100%.
arm is sticky
Yup.
and it's disgusting. But yeah.
there was
Tastes
a
good.
lot
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that unhinged like
Yeah, and they don't.
candy.
Maybe it's because our taste palettes changed, but they don't hit as much anymore.
They
and I'm like,
don't,
oh
yeah.
no, and that's something I miss about nostalgia. How things used to taste. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man,
I think for me, especially during Halloween time, I loved like Reese's so much.
Reese's peanut butter
Yeah,
cups.
And like
Reese's.
I think now as an adult because I can like buy whenever I
Buy
want. Like
whenever
that's
now.
that
Yes.
specialness.
Candy
is
doesn't
gone.
hit
It's
the
gone.
same.
See, that's the
Yeah.
thing. And I told Mara, and to kind of bring it back to like the waiting anticipation of it was like, oh man, like you said, like now it's so easy accessible to us. I kind of miss a time when things weren't as
Yep.
accessible because I had to wait. Like, all right, movies for example. A movie will be in theaters for 2 weeks and then it's streaming.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, oh, there's no necessity that I have to go to the theater to see this anymore. And that can be beneficial to many people. Like when COVID happened and a lot of things shut down, like, all right, yes, I would still like to enjoy these movies. And, you know, when I had kids, it got a lot harder for me to go to the theater because I never wanted to be like, hey, watch kids, I'm going to the theater. I never wanted to do that. You know, so like now that I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, I'm just now again being able to go to the theaters. But back in the day, it was like if you didn't go see this in the theater, you had to wait months.
I remember that.
I remember that.
absolutely remember that.
Oh, you like The Dark Knight? Good luck waiting a year for it to come out
12 months
because we
for
want to
DVD
sell
or
it in
whatever.
December.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh Lord.
Or like when you would buy like a VHS or DVD, and then it would be like a preview of like the new movies coming out. Yeah, that was so cool.
I watched the previews. I still have tons of VHSs. I don't know if you guys own any.
We
still.
have a couple.
Yeah,
we actually have a VHS.
I have a do you have a VCR?
Yeah.
That little TV right behind
Good.
you has
Yes,
a VCR.
good. I got 2 VCRs at home, and I have a lot of home videos still on the VHS and everything else. I got to convert it because that's what's happening now. Just to save it. But I remember watching like all those movies, and again, it felt special because like if you didn't see it, you had to wait a very, very long time, you know, and those experiences. And you know, back in the day, you felt like you had more options too. Like at the movies, like you guys might have done this, but I remember going to the movies not knowing what I was going to watch. We would just go and then see what was playing. We would just go with friends and be like, oh, what's playing today? All right, we got 13 movies to choose from. All right, Ace Ventura 2's out. Armageddon's out, and you'd be able to pick. Nowadays, it's like, good luck with that. Because it's like you got 3 IPs in there and a sequel, and you're good to go.
Did you ever movie theater hop?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. As a kid? Oh, yeah. Now, as an adult, I don't do it because we make films.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, help the box office.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm different now.
We had a professor that literally just that just was like, yeah, on Christmas, he's Jewish, so he was like, on Christmas, I go with my like 3 kids and my wife, and we just hop.
We just
movie
hop.
theaters. Yeah.
I was like, no, give them money.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know if you should be admitting this right now, like to a class of 30 people.
You're telling us what you're doing. We're going to call the police. You know, like we're going to call.
And I'm just like, how have they never? He's like, we do it every Christmas, and I'm just like, how do you not get caught?
Back in we would do it too to get into R-rated features. Growing up as kids, like we would go and to see R-rated features. And I remember when Scary Movie came out, the first one, and we had seen something, and like we kind of just snuck over to go watch it. Like, this is the greatest experience ever. I love this. I remember one time my mom took me and my cousin Jackie. We went to see Deep Blue Sea. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a shark movie. Came out in the 90s. Sam Jackson, L.O. Cool J, Tom Jane. Great sci-fi movie. And it was rated R, so we couldn't get in. And my mom wanted to go shopping at the mall because back in the day, you just drop the kids off at the movies and you go shopping and do your thing. And my mom was like, I'm going to go to the mall. And we was like, yeah, but we can't get in. And my mom literally stopped a couple that was walking into the theater. And she was like, hey, if you don't mind, I'm his mom. I'm her aunt. I'm going to buy their tickets. Can you just walk them in?
Yeah.
And they were like, absolutely. So they just walked us in. And as soon as we got in, they were like, all right, see you later. We got to pick our own seats.
Oh
and
my
everything like that.
God.
So that's a fun little memory
That's
I have of going to see
awesome.
an R-rated feature as a kid.
Oh God, that's awesome. All right, you brought this up, malls. Let's talk about.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, the malls are dying and I'm crying.
I'm sad about it. I do think that there might be like a resurgence at some point
hope
for
so.
malls.
I
hope so too, because I do think like it is sort of trending that way, that like people are like, oh, like they're sad about it and they want like more local stuff, and like I think that eventually that will, but like first we have to get through the whole first phase of like everything dying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, were you guys mall kids? Were you at the mall a lot?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. It was
100%.
great.
That was a place to be.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, you met up with friends, you hung out in the food court.
Yeah.
I remember that's a lot of the time where we would hang out, like when we were first like, becoming
we had
friends or
nothing else to
whatever.
do.
Yeah, we were just like hanging out in the mall. And so like it's super weird to think that like the very mall that we like sort of became friends in is like gone now.
We just got to buy it. We just got to put our money together and buy it and fix it up. And it is so sad because I remember growing up and like and you guys know this, there was hardly ever a time the mall didn't have a lot of people in it.
Yeah.
Especially during the seasons and holiday season. Like it was always so great, music playing.
It was so lively.
I've been going to the Cumberland Mall since I was like 5 years old, and I always used to go to this pizza place called Luca's since I was like 5. And right next to Luca's would be an arcade. And I would always get sliced pizza. I'm like, Mom, Dad, can I have a couple quarters? And I go in the arcade and play. And it was a great thing. I still get pizza from those people. and they recognize me to this day, and they're just like,
That's
"Hey, Rick,"
really
and it's the same, I'm like
cute.
usual, and I just
You're
go in there
regular.
and they give me my slice, my 2 pepperoni sticks, my drink. They know my drink, they know everything. It's great,
Aw.
and it's awesome because like I've been going there since I'm like 5.
Yeah.
So throughout my life, they got to witness me grow up, and they got to witness me like I would bring people there, and then I brought Britt, my wife, and I bring my kids, and like there's this like feeling of like like that nostalgia still hits because I'm still able to experience it with them.
Yeah.
But the mall
Like you
itself,
grew up
Yeah, the
together.
mall itself is just different. It's just not the same. And
Yeah.
like you said, we've gotten so accustomed to instant, right? Amazon,
Amazon, yeah.
eBay, like everything's blah blah blah. I could just get it in here in a day or two, And there's a part of me that's still like, no, like I still like going to the mall.
I
Like,
still love
like
browsing.
going. Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
just browsing
Like-
around.
like
yeah.
I feel like when you go to Amazon, you know exactly what you want.
Yeah, and it's not as
Yeah.
fun to look.
It's not, because you go,
Yeah.
oh, I need a new headset, Amazon, boom. But
Yeah.
if you needed to do a headset and you went to the mall, you could come back with 3 different things. You'd be like, oh wait,
Yeah.
I actually want that. I actually want that. I need that. And that was
Yeah.
so fun about the mall.
It's also kind of analysis paralysis when you like have so many options to
Yep.
look at, and instead of like when you go to like a store, you're like, oh, there's this option, this option, and this option, and then you pick the option
Yeah.
that's like the best for you, like in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically with clothes, like you can try them on right then and there.
Yeah,
Whereas like if you try to order online, you have no idea if it's gonna fit.
such
like, you
a
can hope.
hassle to return stuff.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
There was a thrill to the hunt too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Like especially if you were anticipating something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, like I still am, but I was a huge Backstreet Boys fan, and I still am. That's my band, Backstreet Boys. I want it that way, and they were so popular that if on release day, it'd be really hard to get a CD.
Yeah,
It'd be really hard
yeah.
to get their stuff. So there was such a thrill going to the mall. Shoot, they don't have it. Let me go to
Yep.
this store. Oh, Kmart doesn't have it. Let me go to the, and then when you finally got it, it was an amazing feeling. And I feel like that's another thing that I miss again with the instant. Again with Mara, she can just click something
Yep.
like this and she has it. And I'm like, oh no, you don't understand.
You
If
don't
I wanted to
understand the
listen to I
waiting.
Want It That Way, I had to pray to God that it came on before school at 7:30 on MTV. I'm like, there it is, and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
just go to the store and just listen to the albums and whatnot, where you could sample the album,
Mm-hmm.
kind of listen to it and take it home.
That's
Like,
how
there
it was
a
with
thrill in the hunt.
video games too.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, where I was like, oh, we'd hop to store to get the game because I'm like, oh, that store doesn't have it, and I'm just like, I want this game so bad.
I
Oh,
want it. I need it.
This is
yeah.
gonna sound terrible of
Do
me,
it.
but like
Do it. Tell us we're bad
Yeah,
people.
Black
yeah,
Fridays
right, right.
nowadays,
Tell us we're bad people. Okay.
Black Fridays are now boring. Like I miss,
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I miss people getting up,
Oh, the people.
Yeah.
Oh, when you would see on the news, people were like punching each other
trampling
and
each
stuff.
other for
Yeah.
TV.
I
Well, TV's insane too, because you can get TV so cheap now.
I used to love Black Friday to watch all the videos on Black
The
Friday.
chaos, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I never participated on a Black Friday because I was too scared. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get trampled.
Yeah, I
You know what I
literally
mean?
thought
Like,
I was just
I'm
going
gonna
to
die.
die.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die for this Power Ranger. It's not worth it.
It's not worth
You know what I
it,
mean?
yeah.
And
I'm just like, no,
unfortunately,
thank
it does
you.
happen. Like people get really hurt.
Yeah, people
But-
actually do.
But
Like,
every year. I used to go on YouTube,
And
pull
watch
up Black Friday chaos, and just go for it. And I would sit there for hours and just watch.
what
these
is it about that we like?
I don't know. It's just it's just sheer chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people add like the Walking Dead music to it,
Yeah.
and like you see people trampling,
hilarious.
and it's like you feel so awful for the employees because
Yeah.
they're just in the middle like trying to survive, and
Yeah.
everybody just,
Yeah.
just trying
Right.
to grab everything, and it's crazy.
That
you know?
was single-handedly the reason why I never wanted to work at like a Walmart
Oh,
or a
God,
Target
yeah.
or like
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like super retail. Like I work like retail adjacent and
Yeah.
like coffee, but like it's not as bad as like if I was working at Target.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people go crazy for like frappuccinos or whatever, but not in the same way like they're doing on Black Friday. It's like it's not the same.
Even Black Friday itself got altered because, as you mentioned, it used to be midnight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it was midnight, and then it became 8 p.m., 7
Yep.
p.m., 4, and now it's like, oh,
And it's like-
sales all week.
Yeah.
Not real sales,
And then
No,
but
Cyber
sales all
Monday
week.
afterwards.
Yes, cyber, and it's just like, oh no, like it's gone. You took Black Friday.
You took
away.
Black Friday, yeah.
How dare you?
And it's like it's almost like, well, why do I want to leave my family to like go,
Yeah.
you know, to Black Friday when it's like, oh, I just know Monday is gonna hit, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I've had people say they go just because it was fun. They would tell
Yeah.
me, they'd be like, Rick, I don't even buy a lot. They go,
Yeah.
I just liked being in the
The
environment
atmosphere.
and seeing all the chaos and this and that. And I was like, I guess,
Yeah,
bro.
you want
like,
someone get
Yeah.
knocked out.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I wanted to one time. I never did it. I always wanted to go out there with a camera and a mic.
Oh, wow.
And just like,
Honestly,
just like, hey, why are
interview.
you here? What is so
Yeah.
important? What do you need? You know what I mean? Just to kind of troll
What are
them a
you
little bit.
looking for
It's like, oh, the
tonight?
true, like Thanksgiving is all about being together, right? So you're here. What are you buying? You know what I mean? Like I always want
That's
to mess with
hilarious.
people. But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
This was
It's
slap
okay.
on TikTok.
Yeah, you know what I
Honestly,
mean?
yeah.
Like
Like-
somebody's gonna do this now, but Black Friday is not nearly as big.
It's
you know?
not,
Yeah.
but
And it's-
man, that would have hit right then.
I was
that
like,
would have
oh,
been
like
so funny.
I remember wanting to do that when I was much younger. I was like, dude, we should just go out there. We just go out there and just do it. It was so long ago. I don't even think like we were rocking camera phones yet. Like I was like, we should just go out there.
Yeah.
Let's go do it. Let's go interview people.
I remember like before phones like had like, you know, like smartphones had like consistent internet, you'd freak the fuck out if like your phone went into like the internet mode
Oh
and
my
you're just
God.
like
Oh my god, the instant
freaking
panic.
out. Yeah.
Because
You're like, oh, you're gonna get charged like $50 or
I would open
something.
my flip phone,
Yeah.
click the button, see that little wheel, and I'm like, no,
No,
close
yep,
it, close
yep.
it, close it. Oh, that's gonna come on the bill.
Yeah.
My dad's in like, you're on internet. I was like, Dad, I swear to God,
I swear,
just
I
opened
didn't
it by
mean to.
accident. I meant
Yeah.
to play. I was gonna play Snake for a couple minutes.
Yep.
And I ended up going to internet. I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Call me after 9 p.m.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
I remember
When-
that.
Yeah.
Remember those? Like, call me after 9. I was like, you kids don't have any idea
When
the
I
struggle.
first got an iPhone, I like hated the touching.
Oh, yeah,
because I had
yeah.
because
Yeah,
I
I
had a
want a
physical,
physical
I had a
keyboard.
physical
Yeah.
keyboard for so long
Yeah.
that I was just like, how do I like what? Like it felt weird. Like
Yeah.
We used to text in Morse code.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Go to the buttons.
Yep, the buttons. And I
Oh.
got so quick with that. Like that was insane. You could like shoot off a text so quick. And now it's just like, what am I saying? Like
All right, we're back. I just had to swap out an SD card. But yeah. What were we talking about? Nostalgia.
Nostalgia. And we're talking about now we're talking about we were talking about the mall
yeah.
and everything else. And again, I miss the mall, man.
I miss
I
them all
do.
too.
The Hamilton Mall used to be the big one for us.
That's our mall.
same.
That was the big one for us. So like the Cumberland Mall was where we went if we wanted to just hang out and get something. But Hamilton Mall was the big one.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then like now it's just
so
like, oh
sad.
no, I don't know what happened to it. And
It absolutely is like gone.
Yeah.
I've seen at
essentially.
least like 3 TikToks of people going to the
Yes.
Hamilton
Walking
Mall
through.
and being like, look at this
Yes.
ghost
It's like
mall.
a ghost town.
TikTok found our backyard.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh man, like we're close. You know what I mean? And it's like,
And
yeah.
it's so weird because there's so much of it,
yes.
you know, and it's like there's just nothing there anymore.
Hamilton Mall's huge, and that was one reason
Yeah.
why like my other cousins were like, let's go to the mall. I'm like, which one? It goes to Hamilton Mall, dude.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
It's bigger.
You know, and it was one of those things where like we because again, we would usually go to Millville, Cumberland Mall. We'll go to Hamilton Mall. We won't see anybody we know. We could just meet strangers and we
Yeah.
could talk to girls and all that kind of stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We won't know them. You know, it was that kind of stuff. But there was a culture around malls. I was actually hoping that Stranger Things would bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as you know, pop culture and everything it's very popular, and if people can try to recapture that magic and make money, they're gonna try.
Yep.
So when Stranger Things came out and the mall started being popular, I was like, oh dude, this is the time. Jump on malls. But again, everybody's like, no, I can just click it on the mouse and get what I want, or click on a phone. I said a
Yeah.
mouse. Who uses a mouse anymore? Unless you're editing. You know what
I
I
was
mean?
like-
Like unless you're an editor, everything now is on your phone. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's so weird because certain things are coming back. Like, you know, like people want record players,
Yeah.
they want like cassettes, they want, you know, all that stuff. Very like 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like people still love like VCRs, like, and it's just weird how certain things come back, but other things are just like dying.
Yeah. It's always interesting which makes the cut.
Yeah. Like, what is good enough?
Like you said, like, you guys ever see a futuristic movie where there's the main character always has a lot of vintage stuff? And I remember growing up when I would watch those movies.
Very like Back to the Future.
Yeah, like I'd watch
Yeah.
like what's a movie? Have you ever seen Looper? Have you ever seen Looper?
Nah, never seen.
Well, in the movie Looper, it's obviously way in the future, but our main character loves record players. He likes old cars.
like
He
the
doesn't
very
and I remember
nostalgic
like
stuff.
I'd watch these movies when I was younger, and I'm like, oh, like who would be like that? Like why not update with the times? And now I'm that person.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, I love the vintage. So I'm like, I get it now. I
Yeah.
get it. Like you're attached to a time period. Or whatever.
I get it.
And sometimes even stuff I wasn't there for. Like I like
Oh, yeah.
malt shops. Like I love the idea of a
Oh
malt
yeah.
shop.
Oh,
I
like
love,
soda shops.
yes,
Yeah.
I love
same.
50s music. Like I wasn't there
I
for
love
that.
50s like fashion.
Yeah.
Not like the ideals, but like the fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fashion is so. I just love it.
I'm always hoping that we get comebacks with certain fashion
Yeah.
choices
Yeah.
and things like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, bring them back. Like, let's go. I want to see that.
Like even like my like wedding dress and stuff. Like I want it to be like very 50s.
Yes.
Yeah. Like a very like even like the hair pieces and stuff. Yeah.
See, I like that. That get me excited.
Yeah.
I'm going even older. I want to look like Bridgerton.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you
God,
go,
Juan
yeah, you
is
going back to
even
Bridgerton.
older.
Yeah.
Okay.
He literally said this like 2 weeks ago. He's like, I want to look like that.
Dog,
Yeah.
that's how you got to do it. That's how you got to pull it
Yeah.
off. You got to rock the Bridgerton look.
I'm
You know what
so
I mean?
for that, honestly.
It is interesting though, because we could be nostalgic for a time we weren't there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like you become, whether it's the fashion
You
sense
just
or the look or the
vibe.
vibe. Like
Yeah.
I used to be that kid. I don't, you know, I'm not that guy anymore. But I used to be like, I was born in the wrong time period. You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
would love the feel, the look. And I think a lot of times that came because of movies. Like I'd watch older
Yeah.
movies and be drawn to it. Like, oh man, I wish we could dress like that. Like if you look at my my wardrobe, I'm a leather jacket guy. And that's because
Love
I would
leather
watch like
jackets,
I would
too.
watch Happy Days and Greaser movies in Greece.
Ooh, Grease.
So like I would watch that like when it's summertime, I'm always gonna rock sneakers and stuff. But my favorite season is fall because I get to rock my
Yes.
boots. I get to rock leather boots. I get to
Denim
rock leather
jackets.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
get to rock all that, and that's because of like the time periods that I used to watch of the '80s and everything
Yeah.
else. I'm like, yes, that's the look that I like. When
Yeah.
Steve finally got the leather jacket in Stranger Things, I was like, there it is.
You're like,
The
finally.
yes, the leather jacket is here.
I love that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's full on break out into Stranger Things talk now because it's coming.
Dog,
It's coming
I'm
up.
so excited
It's
for
coming
Stranger
up.
Things. The nostalgia that thing pulls is unreal.
Yeah.
It is.
Unreal.
And they've captured it so well, like to a point where you're just like, it feels very authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a new movie on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard one of the critiques was that it doesn't feel authentic. Like it's just like it does 80s, but it's what you assume an exec would think the 80s would be, as opposed to someone who was like, oh no, I was there for the 80s, here's what it was really like. Like, have you ever seen those memes? All right, so I've seen this one specifically where it's like everyone thinks the 90s living room looked like this, but it actually looked like this. And I'm like, yes, it does. It was a lot of brown, it was a lot of wood, and a lot of people were like, oh, it's probably bright and colorful. It's like, no, that's what an
No.
executive is telling
Yeah.
you it looked like.
Yeah.
It did not look like that. So Stranger
Well, because
Things
it was
does
coming
it
off
well.
of the 80s, which
Yes.
had like the wood paneling and like, yeah.
I'm gonna bring the wood paneling back.
The wood
I'm gonna
paneling.
bring it back.
Okay, all
that
right.
that room I told you I'm gonna make in the garage. I'm gonna turn it to
Yeah.
a room.
Yeah.
I want to bring the wood paneling back so
That's
much.
funny.
It's gonna be a bubble. It's gonna be like 1988 in there
I
all
love
the time.
that.
Hell
That's
yeah.
Give
honestly
me
really cool.
a burnt orange rug.
A burnt,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, what was with the very colorful rugs?
It was give me a burnt orange rug.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, like I remember my parents looking at houses, and like sometimes they would get like houses that were very much like stuck in the 80s, where the wood paneling, the super ridiculously like red or purple carpeting, and you're like, what is going on? Teal
Is it-
carpeting.
it's-
Yeah, like
I think that's why at one point I had a red couch. You remember my red couch?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
You probably saw my red leather couch at
Yeah,
a point. Yeah, I
yeah.
had a red leather couch. That was
That's
probably me
crazy.
attaching myself to like those old, bright, colorful. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's get the red leather couch, man.
That's so funny.
But Stranger Things does that to me. Like when they featured them dressed up as Ghostbusters,
Oh,
I was so happy.
Yeah.
Because that's my squad, man. Like I was such a big fan.
I remember you first telling me about Stranger Things and how you wanted me to watch it, and you tell me to watch a lot of things. And
Yeah. I'm like, what? Have you seen this? Can you watch it?
It's like
so
one
good.
out of 10
I want-
things that
so
you
good.
tell me.
I want to talk to you about it.
I'm that's my curse. Is like I constantly hit people up and I'm like, have you seen this? Like I try to get a read on all my friends on what they would like.
Yeah.
And I watch everything. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, you would love this. Watch this. And like
That's kind of great though, because you're great for recommendations.
Oh yeah,
That's
like,
great.
and I usually have there's like 3 to 5 friends that I have that are like, I want to watch like Anthony Scanish. He will hit me up randomly at 11:30 p.m. and be like, I want to watch something. And I go, all right, what genre? And he goes, and he's a movie buff too, but you get in your own head, there's so many options.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, what do you want to see? A comedy? Okay. Birdcage. And he's like, perfect, good.
Love
And it's like,
Birdcage.
all right, we're good to go.
That's
Birdcage
awesome.
You know what I
is
mean?
great.
Oh, have you seen The Birdcage? Juan, it's one of the greatest
Wa- oh
comedies
my God.
I've ever seen in
Rick,
my life.
We have a list.
Please
of-
watch it.
Of movies that Juan has not seen, and that I'm like, we're going down.
Did I ever tell you this? Like a couple years ago, maybe like for your birthday, I was like, okay, make me a list of all the things that
Yes.
I
I
haven't
do it for
seen
the
that you
birthday?
want me to
Yes.
see, and then
Yes.
I'll watch it
Yep.
with you on
When's
your
your
birthday.
birthday?
Mine's August 11th.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Coming up.
There it is.
Yeah.
You do it.
Get that
Yeah.
list. Get that list. 'cause
And
it's good.
Birdcage is it's on my list. It's like on anything Robin Williams, because a lot of he has a gap of like Robin Williams stuff. I don't know why.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. I don't like some things he's seen, but like other things he hadn't. Like what's another one? Good Will Hunting. He hasn't seen
Ooh.
that one.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, Good Will Hunting's really good. And like Birdcage he hasn't seen. Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, yeah.
Cardinal Sin.
Yeah, yes.
Oh my God.
I know. We're trying. He recently, like, what? Recently-ish, we did, oh God, My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because, and now he loves the whole, like, what, like
Some random quotes like,
random
there's a
quotes.
hole in this cake.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
yeah,
now
some
you
random
understand what
quotes.
these are.
Yeah, and they're hilarious. Like, oh my God, so
The-
funny.
You're gonna love the Birdcage.
The Birdcage,
It's,
it's great.
honestly
Robin Williams?
Robin Williams is in
Robin
it.
Williams, Gene Hackman.
Yeah, so
It
good.
is
Love the
un-
Birdcage.
Hank Azaria is so good in that movie. Everything about it works. It's honestly, I think it's like top 3 comedies of all time. Like, in
Wow.
terms
It
of
really
okay.
is so funny.
I've never seen it and not laughed at it. It's just,
I've definitely had it on here before, but I just don't think you were really watching.
I have another friend I'm trying to get to see it. He hasn't seen it yet either.
That's
I'm trying to get
crazy.
George. You know George.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen it yet, and I'm always like, bro, please. I'm telling you right now, it's the greatest comedy.
It's literally
Please
so
watch
funny because anything Robin Williams, I was immediately like, I want to watch it. you
Nathan
know?
Lane is incredible in it. Like,
Yeah, like
you'll love it.
I'm trying to think. I think the only Robin Williams thing I've seen.
Is it Flubber?
No.
Okay.
Dead Poet Society. Because
Dead
Oh
Poets.
wow. Okay.
I saw
okay.
it in the English class.
Okay.
English teacher showed it
Yeah.
to me. So
which is
one of the more
great. That's a
serious
good
ones.
And
Yeah.
Robin, you know, I love Robin.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
My favorite project to this day is the one you and me did
Yeah.
for Robin, because I love that man.
Let's
You
do
know
it
what I
again.
mean?
Let's recreate it.
So it's one of those things where, like, obviously if we shot it today, we would shoot it differently.
Yeah.
And you know, like, there's a part where we can hear an airplane in it, and I'm like, oh, we would reshoot that so we don't hear the plane or whatever. But there's something about, again, I'm never gonna do like the George Lucas thing where you go back and change things or redo whatever,
Okay.
because I'm like, no, that's a time capsule. Like when
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
making it, that's where we were at
it's
the time.
like in the moment.
And I remember just hitting you up and be like, hey man, I want to do something for Robin. Can we just do this? You were like, yeah, let's go. And it was like, all right, and we did it, and it was great. And that to this day is my favorite project we've ever done because of how it makes me feel when I watch it. And if you remember, we sprinkled all of Robin's movies in it, and like the ones that hit me the hardest. So like now I know you haven't seen many. We got to get you a list of Robin movies to
Right?
watch. Hook changed me.
Yeah.
I saw Hook with
Hook's
my
a
dad
really
in the theater,
popular
and
one.
then I have a great memory of my dad. He took me to see Hook in theaters. And you know the story of Hook, Peter Pan?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
it's a Peter Pan story, where he grows up, not supposed to grow up, but he grows up. And as soon as the movie was over, my dad took me to KB Toys. I don't know if you remember
Oh,
KB
I
Toys.
remember.
Yes.
Took me to
Yeah.
KB Toys in the mall, and he bought me the Peter Pan gold sword.
Aw.
And that, like,
Oh.
that's such a big memory for me.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
So I always have this like ties with Robin Williams.
It's a great story.
You know, maybe it's because of my dad, but like I always had these ties to Robin Williams and all that stuff. So like thinking about his movies in the '90s, and I watched him today, Miss Doubtfire, like
Miss Doubtfire.
that'll pull your heartstrings and everything else. So yeah, like Robin, he's goated. He's the goat.
Is your dad
Really
also a
is.
big movie buff guy?
No.
No.
Now, I will make sure that I have movie experiences with him because movies are another one of my love language. I love movies. So there's a handful of movies that I've seen with him, and because it hasn't been so many, they mean more. So like I saw, as I mentioned, Hook with him. So like we have that. And another one that we saw was Man of Steel. And you know how I feel about Man of Steel.
Yes.
So I saw Man of Steel, and then I was like, Dad, can you please go watch it with me? And he's like, yeah. And we went and saw that. We saw The Matrix 1 together. So
Oh,
like we
wow.
don't have a huge library of movies we've seen together, but the ones that we have are like impactful. Like they're
Yeah.
big.
My dad showed me Wizard of Oz.
Ooh, okay.
And I think we both like got into like kind of musicals and stuff because of like starting with that, because then we'd watch Sound of Music, West
Yeah.
Side Story. And then this past Christmas, I took him to see Wicked.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you
So
like
it kind
it?
of came, yeah, it
Yeah,
came like, kind of
dude.
full circle.
Yeah, it was really cool.
The new Wicked trailer's dropping soon, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
Juan actually showed me Sound of Music because I
Yeah,
had
Oh, the Sound of Music. Okay.
Yeah, I literally like my parents weren't ever really big music people, like musical people. Like the closest thing they ever came to like musical anything was like anything Disney. But even that, they were like, you know, like this is kid stuff kind of
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah, and so like my dad, my mom were never really big into musicals, so I didn't really watch a lot of musicals stuff until I was like maybe in my teens and got into musicals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Juan showed me Sound of Music, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is like a weird blend of like musicals that I like and like history because
Yes.
like there's half of it is like World War II and like they're escaping like the Nazis and like they're trying not to get captured and all that. So it's like this weird blend of stuff.
I was late to musicals.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't. The first musical I ever saw, this is how late it was Moulin Rouge.
Oh wow,
That was the
okay.
first musical I ever
Rouge.
saw. And I think because, and obviously, like, at that time, I was really big into sports and action
Yeah.
movies and horror. And I was like, musicals, I'm not watching no musical.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, this is incredible. These are what musicals are?
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. And then after that, I started to get to it. And then Britt would even show me musicals like Singing in the Rain.
Oh,
Okay.
Singing in
Like,
the Rain,
she introduced
yeah.
me to a lot of these old school musicals. And I was like, wow, like I never even watched these movies
Yeah, like,
before.
these are so good.
And then I'm like, I love musicals now. Like, I adore musicals. So like, if people, like when people, that's another thing that, like, I don't want to say it gets on my nerves, but when people immediately dismiss a movie
Because it's a musical? Yeah.
and I'm like, what do you mean? Like what it's a,
Yeah.
what? No, don't dismiss it.
Like some people are like, oh, I can't suspend my disbelief because it's not realistic that they're going to burst out into song. But I'm
Yeah,
like, but
it's
that's
like,
the point, though.
you're
Brother,
boring. That
We,
night.
we,
Like-
we just saw an alien invasion blow up the White House. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I can take people singing. Like it's fine.
Exactly.
It's
like,
fine.
And it's a movie. Like, it doesn't need to be all real all the time, you know?
We're supposed to just go away when we watch these movies. You know, we're in another place and we're
Yeah,
watching
it's
it. And,
escapism.
and
Yeah.
musicals are even like I don't want to say even better now, but I do love now that there's on set singing.
yeah.
You know, where
Yeah.
many years ago
Mm-hmm.
you didn't do that. It was like no, you would sing in a studio and then you would lip sync for the performance. And
Yeah.
now they're like, no, let's sing on set.
Like,
and I'm
that's
like,
so
oh, that's
cool.
so great that we get this. We're getting this real performance.
It's like organic.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's great. I love me some musicals, man. I watch them all day.
Have you seen West Side Story?
Yes,
The
Yeah.
original?
Yes.
And have you also seen the Steven
The
Spielberg,
Spielberg
one?
that one I haven't seen. That one fell through the cracks.
Okay. This isn't really a spoiler, but the original Anita is in that
Oh yeah, I love when they do
film,
that.
and yeah,
That's
and
a cool. It's
it was
I
such
love
a
when they do
great
that.
like connecting tie and like
I love when they do that.
I love that too.
That's the nostalgia berries. They get us when we're
Great.
like, oh, I know who that person is. They were in the first one.
yeah, but that's like nostalgia with substance. It's
Yes.
not just
Yeah.
It's not just like a gimmick.
They
Yeah.
did that a lot with Wicked. Like in the background of Wicked, there's a lot of like the Broadway actors and actresses
Mm-hmm.
that were in like the scenes. Like
Even
in
the writer, right? Wow.
Yeah, one of the.
I
Yeah.
like cameos like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I try to sneak Juan in some cameos every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, Juan, let's get you walking by
I
here,
love
buddy.
that.
Let's get you walking by.
That's awesome. Maybe we'll touch on this real quick. This is not really nostalgia, but we're talking about movies and stuff like art versus the artist.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
a big
Boy.
topic that I definitely want to.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's
boy.
your opinion?
We're
Because I
getting-
feel
we're
like
getting-
everyone
we're
has a
getting deep.
slightly different
We're
opinion.
getting raw.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
hitting the raw.
buddy.
Oh my god,
I think it's
it's a hard balance to strike.
it's a hard
It is.
balance, and I think that it really depends.
Yeah.
I think each case is different.
100%.
Each scenario is different. There are people I can go, okay, I can separate. Like if you ask me to watch a Woody Allen movie, I'll tell you no. I'm like, I can't separate that one.
Yeah. There's like certain people you're like.
yeah, like Victor Salva from like Jeepers Creepers can't do it. Like it's just there's a line. Like there's a line. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
everyone draws a different line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll never criticize anybody for their line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't like if someone's like, oh, I can still watch it. I'm not going to shame them. I
Yeah.
don't like to do that either.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like, oh, I saw this movie. I'm not that guy who's like, I can't believe you watched Stranger Things because this quote unquote actor's in it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be
Yeah.
that person. You know.
Yeah. Because if like it's not your fault that or their fault that you can or cannot suspend your disbelief.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like and to separate the artist from the art sometimes is a necessity.
Yeah.
Depending on what's going on. It is hard. I think it's very case by case.
Yeah.
I've been able to do it with certain people, and there's some people that I just can't do it. And again,
Yeah.
I don't rag on it either. Like I don't want to be that like, oh, I can never watch this because A, B, and C, and like no, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. But I think it definitely it depends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's situational for sure. Like
Yeah.
some things are easier than others.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it's sometimes easier with music versus like other things. Because it's like you can easily be like, oh, well, this is, the person maybe has done some like problematic things or like there have been some issues. But you can kind of just like really enjoy the music for what it is. Yeah. But then like there are other times where like, I don't know, you've done some messy stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know if I can go there with you. But
Like
Yeah. You're right. It is case by case.
It's
basis.
like
Yeah.
like a big actor I'll
Definitely.
use as an example. A big actor, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
There are
Yes.
some people who
Yeah.
like I can't watch a Tom Cruise movie because of the Scientology thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
going to
not-
sit here and tell you, oh, you should watch them. I'm like, oh no, I understand. I
Another
completely
good
understand.
example of that is I don't know if you watch The Handmaid's Tale at all.
I have it, but I know what it is.
Yeah, the main
yes.
actress
Yes,
is.
I've heard about this,
Yep,
yes.
she's a Scientologist.
And I've heard some people kind of dip because of that.
Yeah,
They were
because
like,
it's
oh.
like it is kind of ironic.
The
what
irony
they're
of it
doing,
all, what
like,
the
yeah.
show is,
It's
and
very,
what she, yeah.
and what she's interested in, and like her, religious views and stuff. And I'm like, that's a little bit weird. It doesn't like I can still watch it, but I've also been watching The Handmaid's Tale for such a long
that's
time.
another point, yeah.
Yeah, that I can like separate, but it does kind of hurt the message a little bit.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like there's been people whose podcasts I used to listen to, and then I'd be like, I can't listen to you anymore.
Yeah.
and it's not a big deal. Like I just kind of go, okay, that's it. There's been YouTubers that I've been able to watch, and then go, oh, I can't watch you anymore, and I just kind of go, okay, just move it away, and that's
Yeah.
the end of it. It all depends on who you are as a person and where you're at in your life too. Like for me, it might be different for me versus or you or Lex, like how we interpret certain things on where we are based on our lives, based on our age, whatever the case may be. And like there's certain reasons why some people may. And again, you never know what anybody's going through.
There's
so
lots
maybe
of nuance.
like maybe something happened to someone that I relate to, and therefore I'm like, I can't watch because it hits you close to home.
Yeah.
Everybody has their reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like what you said because it boils down to like you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
You really don't. You know,
And,
like look. I get the Tom Cruise Scientology. I get it, but that last Mission Impossible was awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like I understand. I completely understand, and I'll never guilt anybody. Like I had a friend tell me that. Like she was just like, oh, I don't like Tom Cruise. I can't watch his movies. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. You know?
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
just
gonna,
respect their
I'm not gonna
opinion.
sell you on it. What do you mean? He does a stunt in an airplane.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it. It's amazing. Like no. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are sellers though. They try to sell you on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never wanted to. I never ever want to make anybody feel uncomfortable ever.
Yeah.
Like I never.
Agreed.
This is why I'm a hugger. I
Yeah.
want to make you feel nice. If you don't like
Yeah.
hugs, tell me and I won't hug you anymore. But like the idea of making anybody feel a certain way, especially with movies or any type of entertainment content, like you like what you like, you don't what you don't. And if I say, hey, I'm gonna go listen to, I don't. But if I say I'm going to listen to the R. Kelly CD, again, I don't. And someone was like, oh, I can't listen to him. I'm like, oh, I didn't get out of my house. No, I'm not that.
Yeah.
That's not me.
That's
not
kind of me with
not me.
I know you're not a fan of Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
So like, but that's
bane of my existence.
God,
oh God.
This is
Okay.
a great example.
Cut the
though,
mics, cut the
because
mics.
I respect that you don't like her.
I'm going to
even
go
though-
off on Taylor.
Even though I love her. That coaster right there is Taylor Swift.
Is it really? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Give me a lighter. Batman. Give me a lighter. I should have moist you
Like-
up.
Like I love Taylor Swift so much. I'm sorry, our wedding will have Taylor Swift in it.
That's perfectly fine.
I'm sorry.
That's perfectly fine. I don't hate Taylor Swift. I don't hate her. It's just one of those things like,
It's not for you.
It's not for me.
Yeah, which I totally understand. I am definitely of the opinion that like it's not like artists aren't for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, and also that you can grow to like someone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you will.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. Yeah.
I think there's a real beauty though that artists aren't for everyone.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like when like if you like something and you find another group of people that love it as much as you, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
If everyone likes it, it's kind of just like, oh, everybody likes it.
Yeah.
So like this, it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't make it special, but it's like, oh no, like again, Man of Steel. Man of Steel is a very acquired taste movie for many
Yeah.
people. I adore that movie, so when I find someone else who loves it,
Yeah.
I'm like, amazing.
It's amazing.
Cyrus is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
His favorite movie of all time is Ghostbusters. Mine is Ghostbusters,
Oh,
and we
wow.
have that.
Yeah, it's
so it's like, oh
bonding.
man, like, whoa, who's your favorite superhero? Superman. Me too. Favorite team, Ghostbusters. Me too. We become best friends. Yup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's cool. And like, to be fair, I have heard some songs where I'm like, this is really good. Who is it? And then I look it up and it's Taylor. And I get so mad. I'm like, no, it's good. She made a
No,
really good track. She
That's
got me.
actually how I've converted people, like unintentionally, because like me, there's a few people at work that like we have like a Swifties group chat, and we'll play Taylor Swift a lot at work. And there have been a few times where like we'll just be listening, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is a really good song. Like, who is it?" And we're like, "Taylor Swift," and they hate Taylor
Yeah,
Swift,
don't tell 'em,
but
don't tell
they're
'em.
like, "Oh my God, it's actually good." But in these two cases, it's made them Swifties.
See?
Like they
See?
really
How you
vibe
sneak 'em
now.
in.
Yeah, it's how you sneak them in, and it's happened enough now where I'm just like, yeah, like you just need to find the song, kind of vibe.
You gotta find it.
Yeah,
just
you gotta find it.
you
And
know what I
like
mean?
sometimes the songs just hit, and you don't always have to like the whole discography, you
There
know.
was two. I couldn't tell you their name because I don't know them. But there was two tracks by Taylor where she got me.
What was the vibe?
They came on in a gym.
In a gym?
In a gym.
Was it 1989? I
I
feel like that's very
It
gym.
had to be the 1989
It's
album.
very, very gym.
And I remember,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh man, this is good." And like I did the whole Shazam. And
Yeah.
I held up my phone and I brought it back, and my heart sank
Oh, you were like that
because it was like Taylor, and I was like, "No, it's Taylor."
No,
and
no.
then like,
Yeah.
Oh no, this can't be. Why, Lord? Why, Lord? Why?
This can't
and
be right.
I won't lie. I won't lie. It was so catchy. I didn't buy the song, but I'd pull it up like on YouTube every once in a while. I'm like,
Occasionally.
let me hear
You're
the
like, it's a
song a little
bop.
bit. Like,
There
what
are
was that?
some bops.
What was that? I'm the problem. It's me. What's the name of the song?
Anti-hero.
Anti-hero.
That's actually a newer one.
I heard that on the season finale
Midnights.
of like You.
Oh,
That show
okay.
You,
Yeah.
it played, and I was
Oh,
like, "Yo,
yeah.
this is fire! What is this?" And it was
Yep.
Taylor Swift, and I was like,
Yep.
"Shoot, she got me."
Handmaid's
got me.
Tale actually did a one of their second to last episodes for like their series finale
Mm-hmm.
was the opening was a Taylor Swift song, and it was "Look What You Made Me Do."
Okay.
And it's a really like bass like, and it's obviously Handmaid's Tale is all about like, oh, like the men of this whole world are being terrible to these women and like subjugating them to like sexual slavery and blah blah, all that. But so this moment is like really, really cool, and they're basically like killing all the people that are like trying to
Get 'em.
hurt them
'em.
and like hurt their families, and like so the song is very intense.
It works.
for that. Yeah,
It works for
it
it.
very much works, but it's like nobody expected it. They
Yeah.
were like, I'm not expecting Taylor Swift.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that's how they get you. If you
Yeah.
don't tell somebody, it's like with picky kids, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to eat it,
Yeah.
but don't tell them what it is, and they'll take like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, it's this, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, so yeah, it's
You
the
do
same-
that to me. You
I
sneak
do.
some things
I
in our
do.
food.
I
And
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. They're like, hey, by the
Yeah.
way, try this.
Yeah.
I've been tricked that way too. Like I'm like, oh, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's chicken. I'm like, it doesn't look like chicken. It's really good. And they're like, actually, it's not chicken.
It's not
It's
chicken.
this.
I
and
do
I'm like,
that
oh,
a
I ate
lot.
a
I'll do that with
person.
tofu. Like
I do that
you
with tofu
made
or
tofu
like
chicken for me.
or lentils. Like I'll make like like vegetarian like ragu or like bolognese or whatever, and Juan will be like, "Oh, this is really good. Like I really like this. It's delicious." And I'm like, "Oh, it's like vegetarian or vegan." And he's like, "What?"
No meat.
What?
He's like, "I don't
What?
believe you."
What? That's a good one.
Yeah.
The one with the vegetarian and vegan meals. Like
Yeah.
if you can trick somebody with that, you know it's
I
good.
consistently
Yeah.
do
You
it.
know it's good.
Yeah.
Like I had a vegan. Oh God. I had a vegan chicken tender once, and I was like, "Oh, that's not bad. What is it?" And they were like, "Chicken tender." I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "But it's vegan." I was like, "Get out of here!
You're like, "No way."
Get out of here!" Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
what you can convince people of.
Yeah.
It's honestly awesome. Yeah.
You mentioned something that earlier that popped the trigger in my head. You said you didn't buy the song, and I'm just like, oh, let's talk about like. Do you remember LimeWire?
LimeWire.
Napster, LimeWire,
Yeah.
everything. Oh yeah, let's get back on nostalgia, baby. Like the LimeWire and Napster was so interesting,
God,
and
insane.
I remember feeling like, oh, this is amazing.
Right.
The one of the funniest things is like sometimes it would take forever to download a song, right? So let's say you want to you pick a certain song, and when it's finally done, you listen to it, and it might be like a remix version of it, or you hear someone
And you're
go,
like,
yo,
"Oh."
welcome to blah blah blah. You're like, no, I don't want this. I gotta re-download another version.
Yeah.
Or it would get to like 80% and then just stop. And you're like, no, it's busted. Oh man, that was
Yeah.
good times.
I
That's
downloaded
crazy.
so many viruses.
Oh my
Yup.
god, I killed computers. I remember my dad would do the thing like, what's on this computer? I'm like, I don't know. I just got some songs, man. Like, I don't know. And then you would get a blank CD
Oh yeah.
and he would burn it on
Burn it
there.
on
Oh
there.
man, the mixes. I still have them. Do you have any? Any
Burn-
CDs?
like
Burnt mix
burned
CDs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
have
used to be the
some that
master
people.
of burning
Yes.
CDs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have some that people have made me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was always
Yeah.
fun too when
Like
someone would make you
mixtapes.
one.
Yeah.
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 This was many years ago, obviously, but I remember in high school, a girl made me a mixtape.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's so unique. You know what I mean? People don't do mixtapes anymore.
No.
But yeah, like burning CDs and
Now
everything.
people do playlists. That's something. I
It would,
guess.
yeah, like
It's not quite the same, but
I'd go to a friend and be like, hey man, can you burn me like 12 tracks and give him a list?
Right.
Like, here are the tracks I want. He'd be
Yep.
like, yeah, give me a few minutes and blah, 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 and give it to me with a marker.
Yeah.
I still have those CDs. I still have them in my
yeah.
house. They're pretty
I think
amazing.
that's a big reason too that I didn't really get into like albums
Mm-hmm.
until I was older because like I would always just pick out songs I liked, you
Oh,
know,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
like whole albums. And so it was just like one of those things where I feel like Juan and I have like that same opinion where like for the longest time it was just songs of artists we like, not actual albums of artists. So like I couldn't relate to the people who were like, "Oh, I really like that album."
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I didn't. I didn't listen to the whole thing.
That's probably where our age difference comes in, because we got a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
So for me, it was albums. Like I didn't get the Napster and LimeWire until I was already a teenager.
Yeah.
Like in
Okay.
high school.
Yeah.
So prior to that, it's like, oh, Michael Jackson. I remember having the Michael Jackson cassette and being like, yeah, this album is great. And
Yeah.
one of the biggest bummers is when you got a CD and there'd only be like 3 good tracks that you enjoy.
Sad.
And you're going through
Yeah.
the tracks, you're like, oh, I don't like any of these. But they would always have an accommodation where they would sell singles and you would be able to go buy the single. I was like, oh, you go buy the single, you get the single, the instrumental version of the single, and then maybe a radio edit of the single and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that was like their compromise. But yeah, I was at that time where it was like, you
That
bought the
makes
album
sense.
or nothing. And then Napster
Yeah.
came out and changed lives. I
Yeah.
was like, yes.
Once like it was like, you know, streaming and stuff like Spotify, YouTube, like Pandora, all that. That was when I really started getting into like listening to albums. Yeah, because it was just like going from top to bottom kind of vibe. But
Do you analyze the Taylor albums?
oh yeah,
You do
Oh.
those?
oh
You
yeah,
do
oh
those?
yeah, oh
You sit there,
yeah.
you take notes, analyze the Taylor
Oh
albums?
yeah. Oh, Rick. I'm reading this book right now. It's literally annotated
Yes.
songs of
Good.
Taylor Swift.
Good. And look, kudos. I will give kudos to Taylor for this, because I do feel like that in itself is almost a lost art, because
Yeah.
now artists are well aware that people don't generally buy albums, right? A lot of people just buy song by song.
Yeah.
So Taylor still seems to have, because I've seen plenty of those TikToks where girls will break them down.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, it seems like she does have like a story arc in her album sometimes.
she does.
And
Yeah,
that's something that when I was growing up, albums had arcs.
Yeah.
And you would want to listen to the album to get from beginning to end and feel
Yeah.
the arc of the album. You know what I
especially
mean?
her newer stuff is very thematic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like TTPD or like Folklore Evermore, Midnight's even. Yeah, it's very like there's themes, there's a whole like story going through it. I mean, obviously some of it's autobiographical, but then yeah, there's a lot of you can like kind of put yourself into her shoes type vibe too.
Like we used to have interludes in albums.
Oh yeah.
So you would have
Yeah.
3 songs and then like a 1 minute like just talking.
Makes me think of Queen.
Yeah, like,
Queen
and then
did
it
that
would
a
be
few
like it's
albums.
piecing you the next part of the story.
Yeah.
Just do a conversation piece. Like who's I remember when Eminem first came out, and Eminem, it was whoa.
My dad was
Yeah.
big on Eminem.
Eminem was a big one, and like
Yeah.
he would tell these stories, and some of his interludes were like insane. They were intense. They could be violent. You'd be like, oh my god, but you would just follow this story.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever really thought about that until this conversation now. That oh my god, like albums. Because you said we
Yeah.
would have to buy as an album, that artists would do their best to try to create a story
Yeah.
and do that. Where now it's like, oh no, like I'm gonna make 3 banging singles. I'm gonna get those out,
Yeah.
and then what else can I make as a single, and we'll put that on an album. So look, I'll give Taylor Swift some credit.
Yeah.
I'll give Taylor some credit.
And
That's all I need. Just
Yeah,
a
I'll give
little
some
bit.
credit.
And I'm sure there's people like buying like albums like records now for like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Oh yeah,
nostalgia of it, but like
Yeah.
with things like Spotify, I mean I use YouTube Music just because I have YouTube
Yeah, I use
Premium.
Spotify.
You have Spotify.
Yeah.
All these things like you just pay for one service and then
yeah.
there's all the music.
And it's everything there.
It's all
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
And it tell you at the end of the year what your number 1 song was.
Yeah.
and
I love
everything.
that.
It's like, hey man, you listened to this song 30,000 times.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's honestly,
That's me. I burn songs out.
I get that.
I burn
get that.
songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just have them on repeat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a condition, but I do that. You know what I mean? Like Britt would yell at me. She'd be like, all right, enough. You've heard
Another-
it."
yeah.
And I'm like, I got to keep hearing it. I have to
Yep.
keep hearing it until I'm sick and tired
Juan
of
and I
hearing it.
both do that, and I've never had a problem with it,
Good,
like
good,
ever.
'cause like,
No, I absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do it with just like albums and stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm one song
yes,
on repeat.
On
Yeah.
repeat. And walk
and
away.
sometimes like I'll just skip to my favorite part
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to get that dopamine
I,
hit.
Yeah.
I like, and I do this sometimes, and my sister looks at me and goes, "How do you do that?" Where like I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh wait, listen to this part. Wait. Oh my god! Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's so
Right.
good.
And she goes, "How did you hear that?" And I'm like, "It's a ding, 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 ding. Did you hear that part?
Yeah.
It was amazing. You know what I mean? So I definitely do that too, which is hilarious.
Love that.
Oh my
Hilarious.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like-
I feel like we could talk about nostalgia.
We could. It could be forever.
Dude,
and ever.
nostalgia, everything.
So
Television
long.
shows, what we love about nostalgia, how it makes us feel when we're
Yeah,
growing
food.
up.
Yeah.
You know,
Like-
whether it's a time, whether it's the person you were. like nostalgia is a powerful drug.
Yeah.
You know, and like I get high off of it. I get dopamine rushes off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I love sharing it. I like when people get to watch the stuff I share and they go,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, I remember this. I have a buddy named Lorenzo where he constantly brings up a memory if he sees something I share. He goes,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I remember this. I remember that. And I like that because like we get to experience like the dopamine together.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, man, you remember this. And sometimes, you know, like there's a part of me that wants to think life is a circle. Like I want to think that we do it again. Like, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
want to think that we get to do it again and we'll get to experience a whole new form of nostalgia. Because
Yeah.
again, what's nostalgia for us versus what's nostalgia for you
Yeah.
versus someone else and how they're different. Oh, buddy. What do we
I know. Look what you're doing
what
here.
do we got?
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Don't worry.
man.
But yeah, no, nostalgia is definitely, like I said in the beginning, it's bonding. It's a way to connect with people,
Yeah.
especially like through shared experiences, shared feelings.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement.
It's super.
Yeah.
Yeah, super
like-
powerful. I do want to close this out with a little game with you, Rick.
Yeah.
I'm putting you in the hot seat.
Oh, but I'm gonna get all of them wrong. I just want you to know that. I just want you to know that.
No. I think you'll get it right.
I think you'll get most of them.
As a lover of movies, I
Oh Lord, I'm gonna be.
want to
tested.
test your knowledge.
Okay.
He gives you a little bit of
Okay. I hope so.
help.
We're going to
guess the
play a
film
game
from-
called
Ooh.
Guessing the Film from the Actors. I'm going to give you 5 actors,
Okay.
and you have to tell me what the film
I
is.
think Rick will be good at this.
Okay.
And you can guess whenever you want. You can guess after the first actor if you want.
Okay.
Um,
Tom Hanks, Castaway.
all right, film number 1, the
Okay.
first actor we have Larry Hankin.
Okay.
Okay. Second,
I'm scared.
Hector Elizondo.
Oh my God, I know him.
Yeah.
I know him. I remember him from the Beverly Hills Cops movie. This is not that.
Third, Jason Alexander.
Oh shoot. I'm like, where have I seen this cast together before?
Do you have any guesses? You want me to keep going?
Keep going.
All right.
Keep going.
Because like the last 2 will usually be the giveaways.
Okay.
Now we have Richard Gere.
Oh my God. What? Oh. Keep going.
One more. Okay, here it is.
'Cause I'm drawing a blank.
Here's okay. This
Keep
one.
going.
Hopefully this one.
Hopefully this one will
Julia
go.
Roberts.
Oh. Oh my God.
One of my favorites, right?
You
have
Pretty
it.
Woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty Woman. Yeah.
Pretty
The last
Woman
one
is
gave it away.
correct.
You're right. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, Pretty Woman.
All
Oh,
right.
this is a great movie.
Literally my favorite movie.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's
My
a great
favorite
movie.
movie.
All right. Film number
Did you
2.
put that on the test? Was it you?
No.
No.
I made this all
Okay,
myself.
okay.
These are films that we
Yeah.
both enjoy.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's why they're a little special.
I
to
haven't.
us.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I haven't seen that in like 5 to 10 years.
Oh, so good. I
Alright,
rewatch
from
it.
Con
every
Air.
year.
No, I'm just kidding. Keep going.
No.
Keep going.
Oh my God.
Steve Buscemi.
Steve
Con Air
Buscemi.
is not correct. All right.
Okay.
Christine
Oh,
Taylor.
Christine Taylor. I love Christine Taylor. I remember her from Hey Dude and the Zoolander movies and all that stuff. So let's keep going.
Okay. Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. I have a feeling that it's the wedding singer, but let's keep going.
Drew
Yeah,
Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore. I have a feeling it's the wedding
And
singer.
Adam Sandler.
Wedding
No.
singer, baby.
Wedding singer
Yes.
is correct.
As soon as we got to Idol, I was like, oh no, dude. I was like, this is wedding singer. I was like, yo, I know
All
this.
right.
That's a great
Well
movie.
done. 2
So
for 2.
good.
That's a great movie.
Good musical too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Film number 3.
All right.
We have Halle Bailey.
Oh man, The Little Mermaid.
Not
No, I was
Little
kidding.
Mermaid.
I tried to go early. He's gonna get me.
I knew that would be the first
Yeah, I was
guess
like,
out the
Lori.
gate.
A little too recent.
I was like, yeah. Okay.
Her sister, Chloe Bailey.
Oh man. Okay, so it's not recent. Okay, so they're gonna be much younger then. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh man, it's a movie. Oh shoot. Keep
Yes.
Going. Keep going.
LL Cool J.
Oh, buddy.
This one I'm very curious if you'll get.
Yeah.
I don't know. Keep going.
Last one, Queen Latifah.
I want it. I know it's not this. I know it's not. It's not The Holiday, is it? The Holiday movie. I forget what it's called. Where she's sick and she's dying and she gets with LL Cool J in the movie.
It's not the first, but it's
The Last Holiday.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
that is correct.
Okay.
The
I
last
knew it. As soon as she
holiday.
popped up, I was like, oh, it's the holiday thing. What's the name of it called?
This is
Okay.
another one of
We
my
love
favorite
watching
movies.
this during
yeah.
Christmas.
The Last
time.
Holiday. Yep. Because I remember I was like, yeah. So they were, those girls were much younger at the time.
Yeah.
But I never would. Yeah. Based on those two alone, I wouldn't have got it. I was like, nah. I was like,
I knew that Halle Bailey was going to throw you off.
yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, Little Mermaid. I was like,
That threw me off. I was
Willie
like, what?
Garson. Okay.
Film number 4,
All right.
Willie Garson.
Willie Garson.
Cynthia Nixon.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Bradley Whitford.
I don't know. Keep going. Keep going.
Come on, Rick.
Keep going.
Dig deep.
Keep going.
Charlotte Ray Rosenberg.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
I don't
Ready
know.
for the giveaway?
Yeah. What's the giveaway? And then watch me get it wrong anyway.
Josh Hutcherson.
Josh Hutcherson. What is this movie? Give me a second.
oh my God.
Give me a second.
If you need one more hint.
Because I know Josh in a lot of movies, but I'm trying to recognize when they were all
This
together.
movie,
I'm like,
yeah.
when were they all together? And I was like, oh shoot, you got a hint? You
Hint?
said?
Yeah.
What you got? A hint?
My favorite movie of all
Yep.
time.
Your
Juan's
favorite?
movie.
Oh man, I forget the name. Oh wait, stop. Oh man, hold on.
New York.
Oh man,
New York. Name of a New York City.
Little Manhattan.
Yes.
Yep.
There it is. I was like, no, I know
Yep.
it, but I forgot the name.
Is
Yeah. See, what's throwing me off is I'm seeing like their current look.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what is it? And I'm like, oh no,
And they're
these
just
could.
kids.
I was like, these could be movies that are like 10, 15 years old. And I was like, oh, that's what's getting me because I'm looking at their headshot and I'm like, all right, Josh, Hunger Games.
I know
this,
Hunger
that.
Games.
And I was like, oh no, wait. And I was like, all right, Little Manhattan.
Yeah, besides Little Manhattan, like Hunger Games is the first thing I think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I say Josh, it's immediately Hunger Games.
Hunger
Yeah.
Peter.
And I'm like, all right, he's got this other vampire movie, he's got this movie, and I'm like, all right. But I'm again, if you had shown me them when they shot it,
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, I know exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
All right. And this is the fifth and final film.
Man of Steel. No, I was kidding.
Man of Steel.
Oh, Bryce
Bryce
Dallas
Dallas
Howard.
Howard.
I love Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
Big fan. I love her.
All right.
Let's
Next.
see.
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan of her too.
Yep. Both great
Sang
actresses.
Cups.
Dakota Fanning.
Okay, we got all female cast now. Dakota Fanning. And now I'm trying to think of like, remember, it could be years old.
They could be years old. True.
Okay, let's keep going.
Here we go.
Let's keep going.
Robert Pattinson.
I'm never gonna get this. I've already got it, but I'm never gonna get this. But
Which
I
one gave it away?
Yeah.
Can
As
you
soon-
guess the fifth one?
Yes, it's gonna be. Wait, you might
The
be
fifth-
tricking me though,
Right?
Because it could be Hey Loca, like it could be your boy Jacob. It could be I'm gonna Kristen Stewart. And yeah, okay, so clearly this is Jumanji. Nah,
Kristen
we're in
Stewart?
Twilight, baby. We're in Twilight.
Nah, I'm going to
which
need you to be more
one?
specific.
Oh man, this is Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 because of Bryce Dallas Howard, right? Or was she already replaced in Part 1?
She
was
was
already
dead by
replaced?
Breaking Dawn Part
She
1.
was
Oh,
dead,
okay.
yeah.
Oh man, New Moon.
Oh,
I don't know the order of Twilights at all. At
Not
all.
New Moon.
Not Old Moon. No, I was kidding. All right, so wait. There's Twilight. There's Twilight New Moon. There's Twilight Eclipse.
Eclipse.
Yes,
So it's Eclipse. Okay,
yes.
I had to really go. Okay, what are
You
the?
had to dig deep for that one.
Because I
Britt, that one was for you.
yes,
Right.
because legitimately, I didn't see Twilight. I saw the last one first. I think. Right?
Did you really?
I think because I didn't watch any of them.
That's
and I think,
insane.
And I think I watched it with Britt at the movies. Because she was like, oh, I want to go see it. And I was like, yeah, I'll go with you. I've never seen them before. Why
Yeah.
not? So that's why I was like, oh, I have no idea what the names of the movies are.
You
but
must
then,
have been absolutely fever dream for
oh
that
my God.
one.
Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I remember watching the last Twilight movie and going, hold on, man. This battle sequence is amazing. This is what these
Thank
movies are.
you!
I was
It's
like, this
really
battle
good.
sequence is great. And then it just wasn't real. And I said, oh, what a cock tease. I was so mad. I was so mad. I was like, no, this looked like it had stakes in it. This was amazing. But then I rewatched all of them and I actually started like watching them alone. And like Britt didn't believe me. I said, I'm watching Twilight. She said,
Oh
no,
my
I said, I want to see it.
God.
Actually, and look, Twilight 1, I really like Twilight 1.
Twilight is
Twilight
like,
1,
yeah,
I really,
really good.
really enjoy. And obviously the Twilight movies are fun, they're ridiculous in nature
Yeah.
and stuff. Hey, Loca. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
They're just ridiculous.
They're ridiculous. But the last one, when that battle happened, bro, I was so excited. Now, I'm sure you
Yes.
guys read the books. So
yeah,
maybe
I
for
read the
you, it
books.
was really shocking to see that battle take place.
I love that because I love that so much because I was with my mom
Mm-hmm.
and I was watching it with my mom and my mom was like literally hitting me
Okay.
like as it was happening because she hadn't read any of the books. She had just like seen the movie and I was sitting there like, I know what's happening. I know
Yeah,
what's
he's like-
happening. I know what's happening. And my mom is like, what's going on?
I'm going to try to not let my Pandora's box open right now. So I'm going to try to make this quick because I could go on this forever. Pandemonium
I can
in
imagine.
the theaters.
Pandemonium.
Book readers and movie
Yep.
watchers alike, we were equalized. We're like, what the fuck
going on?
is going on?
It was
Because
amazing.
doesn't
This
it start,
doesn't happen in the books.
doesn't it start with like Carlisle's death? Like,
Yeah,
it's like, and he's like,
yeah.
oh, bro, we're in it.
Yep.
We all were like,
Yep. Immediately when that happened, I was like, this is Alice's vision. This is Alice's vision. It has to be her vision.
I
Clocked it.
heard
Yeah.
a blood-curdling scream that I thought was from the movie.
Yeah.
But now watching the movie back, that scream doesn't happen. It's just
Someone in the
It's
a
theater.
someone in
silent
the
scream. So
theater.
it was someone from the movie theater. So I'm just like,
Now,
oh
Yeah.
my god.
As an avid fan, how would you feel if that was actually happening?
Oh God.
Would that
would have changed the course of all the
like
the
a
rest
giant battle?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they have changed things forever. We can't
Yeah.
go back.
We can't.
Oh, we went
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, we went back.
But we went
like,
back.
Like, because like as someone who and we've all seen it, like movies that are taken either from a comic or a book in general.
Yeah.
The Last of Us, which is based off that video game.
Yeah.
There are times where, as a viewer, I'm like, oh, I hope they change things because I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that change was too big, if it would have worked for everybody, because now you're losing people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because that would have killed like that would have killed like Jasper. That would have killed
Jasper can
Cullen.
go. He was in the wrong side of the Civil War.
that's true, that's
Jasper can go.
Oh, let's not get on Jasper.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jasper, you can go,
Sorry,
buddy.
yeah, that wasn't. That
He just
wasn't-
sees a Confederate flag on Jasper.
Yeah, that wasn't great of him.
I was like, Jasper did what in the past?
Yeah.
Nah, brother, you can go.
Yeah, and then
you can go.
Leah sacrificed herself. Seth
Yes,
died.
yes.
Yeah, like so many people died, and like, yeah, it's just crazy.
I was loving it. Like,
Yeah,
as someone
yeah,
who
yeah.
wasn't necessarily involved, I was like, wait, this is what happens?
right.
This is great.
It's
Like, we're ripping
insane.
heads off?
Insanity.
This is amazing. And then, like, I've seen videos of people, like, who had never seen it reacting to it, and they're just, like, screaming.
I
And I'm
love
like,
seeing
that's
TikToks
amazing.
like that. It's hilarious.
That's amazing.
I
They're
see him
so
now.
funny.
And you know what? Like, this will be a huge nostalgia for many people. Is like Twilight. They're like, oh, do you guys remember Twilight?
Yeah.
When we were 9 years old?
Right.
How incredible that was? You know, like that's the beauty of nostalgia. It's like-
Twilight's very nostalgic for me because like I read the books first and then like watching the movies and then like Juan and I like bonding over Twilight was
Yeah.
insane.
I remember when we had a solar eclipse and you did a video and you're like, a solar eclipse, woo! And it's the movie.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, that's amazing. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so good. And I have a greater appreciation for it now. Because again, when this was coming out, I was much younger and I was like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
Vampires don't sparkle. I was very judgmental.
Judgmental.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, and then I started to
Yeah.
watch and I was like, oh no, this is pretty great. Hold on, the album for the first movie is a banger.
It's so
Oh,
good.
well, the music
The
is objectively
Yeah,
I was
the
like, the
music,
music
is great.
incredible. Hold on, I was like, whoa. All right, let me watch this movie. And I was
I
like,
love
nah,
the
this is-
indie feel of the first
Yeah,
one too.
like-
It's so good.
It's great.
Yeah.
I even like Robert Pattinson. Hello,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, get it, Rob. Get it, Rob.
So I just read a book actually. It was called Why We Love and Hate Twilight.
Okay.
And it was so good. It's basically just like how you can love something so much, but also like there's a lot of
Understand
like
it's
flaws.
problematic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
understand it's problematic. And it's like the whole thing was so good because it was just like someone desperately loving Twilight, but also being like, yeah, there's some bad stuff. Yeah.
Everybody felt a little bit of panic when Jacob imprinted on the baby.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, wait a
More
minute,
than
wait a
a little
minute,
bit.
wait a minute. What are we doing?
Listen, that's another
Who wrote
hour
this?
discussion. That's
Who wrote
another.
this?
That part confused my mom so much. She was like, I don't get it. And I'm like, I know. It's fine. You won't get it.
Britt was explaining it to me because I immediately went, what the f
Yup,
is that?
yup.
I said, what? Whoa. I said, he imprints on the baby?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's disgusting. And she's
Yeah.
like, no, wait. All right, here, this
Yup.
is why he had that connection to Bella, but it wasn't her. It was
Yup.
the offspring. I'm like, she's a baby.
Yeah, she's
like,
a
I was like, wait
baby.
a minute. And then they did the future shot of her older
Yup.
to kind of like
Make it a little
easier.
bit
It's like,
better.
well, no, he's going to wait. And I'm like, he's going to wait? That doesn't make it any
It's
better,
still a little
buddy.
grooming. Yeah,
it-
it's still very, yeah.
It's a very interesting.
Yeah.
It's a very
You have to
interesting thing they did.
suspend your disbelief a lot.
Oh yeah, you got to turn
A
it off at
lot.
the door. You got to
Yeah,
like, nah,
like-
you gotta turn this off. And I was like, okay, like,
Yeah.
like imagine. I couldn't imagine pitching that to somebody.
Yeah, right?
Like Juan, I want to do this movie, right? I want to do this movie. I want to do this movie, but hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm
The
in.
main character, he's gonna be like 19 years
Yeah.
old. He's gonna fall for this baby, bro.
Yes.
And it's like.
Perfect.
Like,
What are you
like, what do you
talking
mean? I'm like, we're going to
No
jail.
notes, 10 out of
like,
10.
yeah, like,
Oh,
we're
100%.
going to jail.
And
It's so-
like the crazy part about it is that was supposed to be the ending the entire time.
Yeah,
Twilight
it's-
was a thing. And I'm like, that was in your brain for how long? And you didn't come up with anything else.
She was like, yeah, I got nothing better than this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, can he get with another shapeshifter? No, of course not.
No. I
He
kind
needs
of
the
wish he
baby.
ended up with Leah.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Now what's crazy is like, I didn't know her name was Leah.
Yeah.
So when I named my daughter Leah, I had no idea.
It's spelled differently,
It
though.
is spelled
Yeah.
differently, and that's my get
Yeah.
out of free card.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I spelled it different. I did not do that. I did not do that.
It was
like,
not intentional.
Like Mara's named after a comic character.
Yeah.
Leah
Yeah.
was just a beautiful name that I picked out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but like it's so funny because like it's like, oh, Leah. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
a fun one.
What's Leah's middle name?
Noelle.
Noelle. Leah
Noelle.
Noelle.
I love
That's
Christmas
pretty.
baby.
I love that name.
Yeah,
Oh,
Noelle, that's pretty.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah,
Noelle.
yeah.
21 Christmas baby. We
I
got
love
a Christmas
Mara's
baby.
name too. Mara Grace.
Mara
It's
Grace.
pretty. Yeah.
Mara, named after Queen of Atlantis. The Aquaman comics. I was like, yeah, Mara's dope. That's gonna be you.
Yeah.
It's
that's
a
awesome.
unique name.
It is a unique name. It's very
Yeah.
pretty.
It's like Mara and Leah.
Yeah, Mara and Leah. I
yeah,
think the names just fit so well.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always fun because then when people start fitting their names, like, yeah,
Yeah.
You're in there.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
You're in there.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Rick, I want to be respectful of your time. I know you got to get out of here soon. Want to say thank you.
I'm just gonna stay, buddy.
That's
I'm
fine.
just gonna stay.
That's fine. Let's talk about Twilight more. No.
Yeah.
That could be a whole nother
Oh,
you
my God.
and Britt and me and I'll just talk about
Brit,
Twilight.
Brit loves Twilight. Brit loves
We
Oh,
could
I
go
know.
on forever. I have so many things to say about Twilight.
Every once in a while, if I know that she just wants to chill, I'll even say like, "Hey, do you want to put on Twilight?" I know
Right.
she loves it so much.
Yeah.
and she thinks it's a trap. She always thinks I'm trying to
What
set
do you
her up
want
for
from
something.
me?
Yeah, she goes, "What do you want?" I'm like, "No, seriously, you want to watch Twilight? Like I'll just lay on the couch. It's fine." And she's like,
You're like, I don't believe you.
"You're gonna ask for a back rub or something." I was like, "No, you can watch Twilight. You can watch Twilight." But yeah, it's funny.
That's
But yeah,
funny.
Britt is also welcome on
Yeah.
the pod anytime.
Yeah, honestly.
Maybe we'll come to
That'd
you
be
guys
really
next
fun.
time if
Oh, yeah, we'll
you'll have
blast.
us. And
We'll blast. We'll do Twilight and Taylor Swift. TTs.
yes,
yeah.
TTs.
Would love.
Love
Wait,
that.
what does Britt think of Taylor Swift?
Honestly, I think she's just like she doesn't dislike or
Kind of
like.
neutral.
Yeah, she's neutral.
Yeah.
Like,
That's an interesting
Okay.
perspective.
yeah, like she's neutral. Like she definitely downloads some of her music and will play it in the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, but
That's
she's
cool.
not one of those that's like,
Yeah.
that album's dropping tonight.
That's me.
Oh yeah, we stay up
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
know something's dropping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've converted Juan. Like, I mean,
Gotcha,
Juan,
baby.
Juan didn't hate Taylor Swift by any means, but like, since I love Taylor Swift, I kind of made him love Taylor Swift.
It happens.
I woke you up
Yeah.
in the middle of the night when like an
Oh,
album
yeah.
dropped. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
It happens.
yep.
I was able to get Brit like really big into like DC movies, so it definitely
Yeah.
happens. It's
Yeah.
like, we're gonna go watch this on open tonight, right? She's like, yeah.
I love that.
That is awesome. Well, Rick, again, thank you for coming on the pod. We love.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, let's
Honestly, we
absolutely do it
should.
again. Rick, is there anything you'd like to plug? Go find you on the Panel Bros.
Yeah, you can
podcast.
watch us on the Panel Bros podcast where we talk about movies, discuss movies, break them down, our opinions on it. We got Predator dropping soon. Well, by the time this come out, it might be released, so go check out the page.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can just follow us on there and see what's going on with movies.
Yep, I'll put all the links in the.
And Juan and I will start filming something again soon, and we'll have that for you
Ooh.
guys.
Yeah. That'll
Yeah.
be on the OnlyFans.
The OnlyFans
though.
site,
Yeah,
yeah,
to subscribe to that.
Yep.
Support us creators.
Yeah, man.
But
It's hard times.
yeah. Anything else? Anything you want to shout out? Or
No, I think we're good, baby.
all right, Rick. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and keep wandering.
Yeah.